gamers, welcome back to a brand new DSP video. We are going to be watching this truck sim stream that was wild a few nights ago. If you're wondering why I'm so red, it's because I changed my wallpaper on my desktop, and that's why I look so red. So if you're wondering, that is why. But let's get going. Let's get the show on the road. Here we go. By the way, got this little toy. Pretty cool,
I don't
huh?
do a podcast either. Then what's that thing that all my trolls complain about that I do in the morning before I stream? And they all say, oh, where's the game? Where's the game? Why are you doing this podcast?
So I love that he says this, right? But this criticism of where's the game has also been on streams. He said there is no podcast. And when people called that out, he would say, well, this is a podcast. So then these no podcast streams are lies then, and those are podcasts. Like, it doesn't quite make sense when you generalize the trolls complaining when there's a day you're not doing a podcast and you're still talking on your stream. Right? Correct? Okay.
I don't do a podcast, huh? Idiot.
Not on some days. He did no podcast back to back. No podcast back to back. And he's like, yeah, I don't do a podcast. Yeah, sure, buddy. But these are days that you said you're not doing a podcast, and then you just sit on your ass and talk forever. Even past the time you said you'd want to get into gameplay. Like, these have reached like 45-minute long intervals almost, to the point where they are basically the old pre-streams, the old podcasts he used to do. You know, it's always like these things. He makes a change that actually does feel different for a while, but then slowly but surely, he just goes back to his old ways. Like, remember when he used to say, guys, I am not doing a break after my podcast. Isn't that cool? Look how cool that is. And then, like, within a week, he's like, oh, guys, I suddenly have to go to the bathroom. And then, after a few more days, he's like, okay, guys, it's time for a break after the podcast. As if he didn't promise no more breaks after the podcast. And it's like the same thing when he said, guys, I'm starting my streams at, like, I'm using my time, Eastern time, 2:10. That's when I'm gonna start the show. Then it got pushed to 2:15. Then it got pushed to 2:20. Then it got pushed to 2:25. Sometimes it gets pushed to 2:30. So it's like these initiatives to start early, to not have breaks, to not have a podcast is meaningless. But okay.
That's the thing, the dumb shit people say about me now has now gotten to the point where it's so self-hypocritical of the trolls and critics that it's
Wait, what?
That's the thing, the dumb shit people say about me now has now gotten to the point where it's so self-hypocritical of the trolls and critics.
Self-hypocritical? Is that what he said? But how is it hypocritical? Because there are literal days he doesn't do a podcast where he just waddles around and just sits there staring at chat. And then naturally people are going to say, where's the game, Phil? And he's going to sit there and say, I'm doing a podcast, even though it's a no podcast day. What about that? What about those days?
That it's laughable.
It's laughable.
How on earth can you actually have a point when you contradict yourself in the fucking point? You could, I don't do a podcast, and you complain that I'm doing a podcast instead of gaming. But you can't do both. It's either I'm doing a podcast or I'm not. You're an idiot. Contradict yourself in the fucking point. You could, I don't do a podcast, and you complain that I'm doing a podcast instead of gaming. But you can't do both.
Okay, this makes no sense. The person said, you don't do a podcast either. And he's arguing as if the guy said that he's doing a podcast or whatever. Like, this dude may not even consider the level 1 podcast to be good enough to be a podcast. But again, this complaint of start the game has been in all these segments that aren't even a podcast. The beginning of the night streams are another example of this. The beginning of days that he doesn't do a podcast. Like, he can't argue that these complaints are hypocritical or nonsense when he actively does streams that don't have a podcast. If he's considering the Level 1 podcast to be a podcast because he records that and uploads it, fine. We can agree with that. But what about the days he's not recording a podcast and he's still sitting on his little chair and staring down the chat, waiting forever, and then people are gonna say, "Where's the game? Why doesn't he start the game?" How is that hypocritical? He does things that aren't podcasts that lead into game time. What about those streams?
It's either I'm doing a podcast or I'm not. You're an idiot. Sylvanas Kings, I say Kings now. Wings does not do a talk show. In fact, Wings is
So I kind of skipped over the whole I want to do a show with Wings where DSP was talking at his audience to get his audience to talk to Wings because, this is, by the way, again, another behavior that DSP said was bad. It's really funny that DSP is so quick to criticize the trolls for being hypocrites when he is the king of hypocrites. I mean, literally, that's what the king of hypocrisy was all about. And he still does it to this day. But I love how uncreative DSP is that he wanted to name this potential show Wings and the King. Then someone in chat said the Kings of Redemption, which makes no sense. I mean, you could argue that that it makes sense for DSP because he got redeemed somehow. But what was Wings' redemption? Like, well, how is he a king of redemption? People still call him a wife abuser, a wife beater, whatever. People still give him shit for a lot of things he said. Like, I've not seen at all even an inkling of a redemption arc for Wings. Like, you could argue that DSP had a redemption arc all you want. Anyone can make the argument about that. But what is Wings' argument of him having a redemption arc? Right? Like, there's nothing there. So the name doesn't make sense. But why does the name have to incorporate King? All his shows, if you look back at DSP's history, the only show that he did that doesn't feature his name was Project 7. And then the show got killed. But everything else, Ask the King, Feasting with the King, DSP Tries It, Feasting with the King, Feasting with Phil, whatever the fuck. It's either King or Phil. And it just makes it's so lazy. And it's so embarrassing that he spent time saying that Kino Casino made it okay for him to use the King moniker again. Which is embarrassing. Because he retired it because, well, I can't be called the King of Hate because a lot of people misuse the meaning and they don't understand it. Okay, but then after that he kind of tried to reincorporate King, couldn't figure it out because he's a baby, and then Kino Casino just said, "Hi, King," and he's like, "Wow, brilliant idea! I'm just gonna call myself King. I don't need the of anything. I can say King, dude." And that's it. That's how far it goes. Again, DSP's whole personality, his level of creativity is not that deep. So he's talking about the show with Wings, and it's just King and Wings, whatever. Just lazy names. Lazy. He can't come up with anything. And then he's like, well, yeah, Wing and the King. Yeah, you guys probably think it's stupid. Yeah, because it's a lame name. He knows it's a lame name. And Kings of Redemption isn't any better. The only reason why he likes these names is because it rhymes. That's it. Level 1 thinking. But again, all his names and all the shit came from other people. Level 1 podcast didn't even come from DSP. It came from Keemstar. The only thing he did, I thought Keem said level 1 to be honest, but he said mission 1. But that's all he did. That was the only contributing factor. He just changed mission to level. Wow.
Wings has outright said he enjoys being part of a show as long as he doesn't have to direct
and before
it.
Anyone says anything, yes, I'm aware. My little dumb fucking comic that I called it Project 8 is also not that creative, but I'm not getting paid to do Project 8, okay? I'm just doing it, okay? Jeez.
And run it. He's outright said that. He said he'll do a show as long as he doesn't have to actually organize it and do topics and run it. He just wants to join the show as a guest. He's outright said this before.
Yeah, so DSP saw that, and because I know what clip he's talking about, because it was like a somewhat recent clip. And I'm just sitting there like, yeah, this is the perfect guy for DSP to exploit. The perfect guy. Because that's all DSP can do. He can only exploit people. He can't do anything honestly.
That this is what he wants to do. So I really, really doubt that he would want to run his own show and have me as a guest. If he did, I would consider it. He hasn't said a word.
Sorry if this is annoying you. This is a lot of fun to push.
Here's the truth. I like running shows like that. I like having a guest. I like having someone to talk to and have a conversation with, bounce ideas off of, get answers to questions. I like it a lot. I feel like I would accept that.
Hold on.
I like having a guest. I like having someone to talk to and have a conversation with.
Yeah, because he has no one else to talk to. Yeah, I love having someone to talk to.
Bounce ideas off of.
We are so close to him saying, yeah, man, it's nice to have friends. Like, this is why people have friends. But he has Cat. Like, it's so funny. Like, I know what he means, to be honest. Like, I am kind of being a little mean with saying this, but at the same time, like, this is what people told. Like, okay, oh my god, but this is what people were telling him to do with Cat. Literally, this is what people were telling him to do with Cat. That he could have talked to her on camera. That was one of the suggestion boxes things. Like, they were telling him, why don't you, like, talk more with Kat, have a good time with her on stream, whatever. And he yelled at that guy saying, yeah, you want us to snort pixie sticks and, like, be happy all the time? And it's like, that's not what the guy said, like, at all. And he was so buttered about it. But he loves the idea of having Wings on the show so he can, like, bounce ideas off him. My guy, why can't you do this with Kat? I love that when he was doing these dumb fuck streams with Kat, she was just a body. She was just a body on the stream. She contributed nothing to the stream. She was like, just, you know, like, yeah, I don't like K-pop. I don't like anime. Yeah, you know, yeah. That was her contribution to the stream. DSP had nothing to say to her. He didn't like talk to her like a person. Like, it really seemed so cold and like arm's length. Like, if I didn't know any better, like, I mean, and this is not like a deep thought because I'm sure people have said this in the past, or regardless, you could have believed, I could have believed that she was autistic or like whatever. And that's not to say people who are autistic can't hold a conversation. They can. I mean, there's a lot of like functional autistic people out there, all this stuff. But it was I guess what it mostly is the social ineptitude of these two people not willing to conversate with each other because they're so terrified. Because I think what it is, the reason why they didn't want to conversate or to talk to each other is, to a degree, they were so terrified of the trolls analyzing how they talk to each other, whatever. But the thing is, it's a lose-lose anyway. When you start thinking like that, and you go on stream, like, there was no point for her to show up on stream if you're that terrified to talk, right? Like, just don't bother. Because if you're afraid that people are gonna make fun of, like it makes no sense for her to say that she liked K-pop in like 2018, but suddenly she never liked it and she never liked anime, but she loves Persona. Like, why be so terrified that people were kind of like laughing at her for liking K-pop or anime when, like, and that was the makeup questions. People were asking about her makeup routine, and arguably you could argue that these people asking might have asked in bad faith, but if you're starting to sit there and think that all these people are in bad faith, then why bother? She could have just said like, "Oh yeah, I just do this. My sister taught me how to do my makeup. I don't know. I don't know her fucking life story. Like, I don't know how to do makeup." But she could have said whatever. Like, okay, wow, people make fun of how she puts on makeup. Like, it's whatever. Like, but this is the same guy that started off that whole thing with, "This is not a pregnancy announcement." Like, like that already, like, kind of like set the tone for everything. But this dude is like, "Yeah, I want to conversate with Wings." Like, but he does that even with Rambo. He loved conversating with Rambo. When Leanna was there, he did not. He like steamrolled over her too in other ways. Like, he kind of treats like Leanna and Kat like very oddly. Like, these are like annoying people in his life that he's just with, like, that just inhabit his space. But arguably, he loves Kat more than he ever loved Leanna. But whatever.
Get answers to questions. I like it a lot. I feel like I would excel at it if I got to do it more often. The problem is,
he didn't excel at it. All these fucking interviews were all just like pity parties for him, or little things to make them relate to him. Like, because he has this idea that when you're covering a news story, when you're talking about anything, you have to make it relate to yourself. That is not how conversations work. Like, yeah, you can make something that you can say you relate to something. That can happen in a conversation all you want, but it's not mandatory. Like, you can talk to someone about whatever. Like, I could talk about how much I like Chainsaw Man, but I don't have to make it about myself to explain why I like it. Guys, I like Chainsaw Man. I'm also an artist. I love drawing, and Chainsaw Man is art and has art in it, and people and Fujimoto drew in Chainsaw Man. See how much I love it? Like, that would be ridiculous. But whatever.
I can't because people don't want to do it with me because of my trolls.
But he did these interviews with other people. This is just another scapegoat of just saying, "I can't do this because of my trolls. I can't do sponsorships because of my trolls." One day it's because of my trolls. The next day, oh, it's because I'm not a shill. Whatever. But this is just, he knows that there's a lot of work involved with reaching out to other guests. This whole story about him reaching out to other guests, I don't believe it. I can't really believe that he talked to other people, right? Come on.
It's that simple. People don't want to do it with me because of my trolls. They're annoyed that my trolls are going to come after them if they have any involvement with me. So I get people lined up, they're excited, and then they do research. They're like, "Wait a minute, but your trolls constantly dox people on the internet. Your trolls constantly harass people on the
But this has happened to other people in the past. Like, I like that DSP acts as if he's the only one with malicious trolls. You realize that there's a lot of malicious people on the internet, right? Like, he's not the arbiter of malicious trolls. He's not the only one that has it. I mean, hell, Christian had worse trolls, comparatively speaking, to DSP. Just comparing the two. I mean, Christian had people literally fuck with them so hard. So hard. Like, they got Christian to shove a medallion up his ass. Did anyone get DSP to shove a medallion up his ass? Did anyone get DSP to swallow his own cum? No?
On the internet, well, we can't have that. We can't be a part of that activity. So the answer is no. I've had people who actually I had lined up last year to be on the Level 1 podcast as a guest, and they backed out when they found out about the trolling.
But what was DSP Asks It? He said he had people lined up for DSP Asks It. Oh, the side scrollers tanked that interview somehow. And yet did June the King get massively trolled? Did Ptolomeo get massively trolled? No. Like, he had Cypress TV on his fucking show. Did Cypress TV get super trolled? No. All people said about him was, oh, toothless. That's it. But like, what happened after that? Did Cypress stop interacting with DSP? No. The only time that like people actually went harder on people that went on DSP's show was like, for example, Gahul or whatever the fuck kept trying to dig into trolls the whole time. Like, that, like, it, come on.
I would love to. I think, if anything, as I get older, I do less gaming and more content like that. Abso-freaking-lutely. But
I thought that was bad, right? Like, in the last video I did, he had a whole segment dunking on PPP for saying, Phil, you can't do gaming enough. You have to, like, do more than just that. And he's like, so look at me. I'm doing gaming and it's working, idiot. But now, suddenly, he wants to phase out of gaming. I thought that was dumb. He mocks PPP for giving him the same advice.
there's not much I can really do to make that work. Because, you know, I agree with people
But
that
again,
right now...
I love that phasing out of doing gaming just means doing more talking streams. He has no other creative endeavors he wants to try or anything, just talking, getting people on. Okay, are we gonna bring back the politics channel? But I thought that's bad. Like, I just love in the DMs, he was so, like, excited about Trump winning the election. He wins the election, and then suddenly, DSP doesn't want to talk about politics at all anymore. Why? And he has political takes that are really fucking bad, by the way. Like, he talked about the whole thing about illegal immigrants without understanding anything. And it was so ignorant. I really am glad he stopped doing the politics channel, because it was really mind melting what I was listening to. It's like, come on.
Now, there's a insane group of harassing weirdos who go after people who do something positive with me. Is Boogie a possibility? Why would he be a possibility? What on earth would we talk about?
I love that we're forgetting, like, when he offered the idea of Boogie, right? He pretended so hard that you guys told me you don't want Boogie, so I'm gonna not do Boogie, okay? I agree. But in reality, he only, like, turned Boogie down, not because of ethics, morals, his Chad said no. It was simply because he was hard to get onto his show. Someone asked him about Boogie, and he said, what would I talk about? I thought your chat didn't want him on. Look how little his chat really matters, until it's, like, convenient for him.
The guy literally does nothing but sit on Lolcow Live now. If he's even still on the show, I don't even know.
So if he's not on it, whatever. Okay.
The thing is, with Wings and me, I feel like we have a lot.
I love that he's so terrified of getting them on, just if they are on lolcow live, like that automatically disqualifies them. Like that's what I said about Wings. I can't do a show with Wings. He may go back to lolcow live. Like he wants to have exclusive rights over Wings. This is shit, by the way. He said it was fucked up about Keem and PPP and Kino Casino and all these people, whatever, that wanted to own him. But look at what he just said about Wings. Well, you heard what he said, right? He may go back to Kino Casino, to lolcow live. I can't do a show when he's gonna go back to lolcow live. I thought you don't want to own people, Phil. Why do you want to own Wings? Isn't that bad? And again, this is the guy that says, my trolls, they're all hypocrites. Notice that they're all hypocritical now. But he just oh my god. Contradicted himself like a few days later.
Of similarities with the content creation, with our histories on Twitch and YouTube, with our trolling communities that follow us, all kinds of shit like that. Of course, we're very different people as well.
I love that he has to assure us that they're very different, but he wants to talk about the YouTube and Twitch stuff. Who fucking cares? We know what happened. We understand your perspective. Both of them have talked about it. Of course they think it's because of the trolls. Who cares? It's old history. This is also the same guy, again, hypocrite, right? He said he doesn't want to talk about the past. I want to talk about what's happening now in the future, not the past. And now he wants to talk about the past. If you're talking about the past, why don't we talk about how you met Kat then? How did you meet her, Phil?
But we have a lot of commonalities. I really don't even know what commonalities I would have with Boogie. At all.
What? He doesn't... He just said that they have the same trolling community, whatever the fuck, blah, 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 and they're very different. But now he's saying, I don't know the commonalities. What? Oh, okay.
Alex from Phoenix did a $2 super chat. He says, what if you had, down the line, you had fans as guests? See, again, I used to do that. I used to have people call in who were fans, and we would have conversation, but the problem is...
Oh my god. He talks about, like, this stuff in Hate Live, but I will always remember that one Apex Legends stream he did, like, after he got back from Connecticut. He did, like, it was like a birthday stream or whatever. I'm not gonna find the clip, but, because I played it so many times. But it was the one where there was a dude that, like, sounded really weird. Like, it was like, hi, Phil, like, whatever. I can't really do it justice. It was such a wild fucking reaction coming from the guy. Like, you can kind of tell he wanted to make fun of him, but he couldn't. Because, you know, he at least understood how it would look if he did. But, you know he wanted to. He looked at the camera like, you hear this, right, guys? You hear this, right? Right? Like, it was so awkward, and it's like, you could tell he was like, he wanted to disassociate so bad. Like, it was such a wild reaction. I always remember it because it's like, I mean, I get it. I get why he like what he wanted to do, but at the same time, it's like, these are your fans, Phil. These are your fans.
If I were to do that today, those fans would be systematically harassed. 100%. You know it too. You know, those people would come after them. And they'd find your socials and they'd harass you there and they'd try to contact you at your fucking job. You know, that's how broken these people are. They think that absolutely nothing is off limits and that they can mess with you however they want with no repercussions.
Did OIC lose their job too? How about Alex from Phoenix? Is he gonna lose his job? Did Lance Catterbrand lose their job? I don't know. What about Jax?
So
what about
frankly,
Jax?
I would advise against it unless someone really did have an online presence that was completely disconnected from their real life. in every possible way. Like there was no way that they could find out your personal information and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Why? I love you think there's no way to find out, dude. You're hosting the call. Why not just like say make a different like Discord account, whatever, and have the username be something else? Like, I don't know, whatever. Okay. I mean, I love that like his fans like some of his fans for some reason they actually use their name sometimes in their username. It's like, I mean, I can excuse the first name. I can excuse that. I that's whatever. I can look the other way. But some of them use their full name and it's like, why?
That's the only situation where I would say,
Well,
okay, you know.
I will say the full name is kind of rare overall, but you know what I mean.
Get Lumix on. All right, I'll get Lumix on the podcast. Let's see what he has to say.
But you know he should. He at this point, why not? Why not? He always talks about how the trolls are miserable and this and that. And this is the same guy, by the way, that complained that Craig did not give him a chance to defend himself. Why doesn't DSP invite Lumix and ask him how it is to be a troll? Why do you hate Wings? Right? If he uses Lumix's clips to understand and do basic research as to why people don't like Wings, why not talk to the actual person who runs the channel, right?
Say. I'm going to ask you, I'll be fascinated. I'll be like, Lumix, tell us all about the life of a clipping detractor. What's it like to have to watch someone you don't like all day, every day?
But you watch his content,
so
Phil.
You can make a highlight video and make money on YouTube.
You do the same thing. Like, I love that he low-key, like, mocks all these clip channels, but he uses them to research. So he's really no better, right?
No, man. Well, we got to swap here, so I got to slow down.
Alright, let's move forward positively.
To you, that they just don't have a lot to lose. I mean, you're right.
What?
Blue Mist, I mean, sadly, that's correct. He says, sounds like you are kind of locked into doing shows with people who are similar situations to you, that they just don't have a lot to lose. I mean, you're right. With both Wings and I, we have so many trolls, there's so much toxicity talks at us anyway. Who cares if we go on each other's content, right? Doesn't matter.
He brought Tolomeo on his own fucking show. Did we forget that? Did we just happen to forget he had Tolo on his fucking show? Okay.
Fucking level of trolling is gonna happen to us anyway, right? It couldn't possibly.
This is defeatist attitude. Like, obviously, he may not have full reach to get like Maximilian or whatever on, but at the same time, like, what would they do on his fucking show? Talk about the old days? Max talks about the FGC regardless anyway. Why does he need to go on his show? He tried so hard to like reach out to Button Check. He could probably, honestly, get Button Check on his show. But he won't, because why would Button Check do his show? But he would get him on only to talk about his experience in the FGC. That is it. He would get all these people on just to talk about his own experience. Wow.
You know, change. But for someone who doesn't experience that, doesn't have that in their community, someone who has sponsors, someone who has like a big positive following, they don't want them involved in that shit. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. Then you Sharks fan,
okay, so they're gonna say that, guys, do you know that that your sponsor guy, he was on the Level 1 podcast. Look at the show, and then like it's who cares? Whatever.
A $2 super chat. Let's get that on the leaderboard.
Like, I just love when he's not actively doing something. Oh, I'm doing it to protect everyone so you don't get like bullied. but then he'll actively do whatever, right? Come on.
Well, here's the thing. Sweet Codeine says you could do something that's somewhat adversarial, like when you had Stuttering Craig on the show. People wouldn't do anything about that. But here's
This is dumb though. He's gonna go in a rant about Stuttering Craig that is so dumb. Listen to this.
the thing. I don't want to do that kind of content. I don't want to do constant adversarial content. I don't want to do toxic.
And it wasn't adversarial. Like, honestly, when you if you rewatch that interview, it was simply two guys just saying apologize to each other. I want you to apologize. No, I want you to apologize. Apologize. That was it. That was it. It was so dumb. I kind of think it's such a massive L from DSP to not even apologize. But I knew the second Craig said, "Phil, are you gonna apologize for lying?" I knew it was over. I knew DSP would lose his shit. There's not one thing that gets him more mad and worked up than asking him to say I'm sorry. Like, that is like his N-word. You tell him to apologize, that's it, the gloves are coming off. You just insulted his entire family. Like, that's how much that's how angry he got just for being asked, "Hey man, can you apologize for lying?" Because this dude cannot even like think, maybe it was a little fucked up for me to lie for 7 years. I go on this one person show and I lied. Maybe it was a bad look. But no, his dumbass ego got in the way, and he could not apologize because he felt more wronged by Craig. But here's the thing. This dude acts as if he's so mature and he's such a big guy. He's such an adult. If he was that, he would have gladly apologized. He wouldn't care about who did what. He would just say, "Yeah, actually you're right. You know what, Craig? I'm sorry." If he apologized, of course Craig would then apologize. Because guess what? It would look really bad for Craig to be like, thank you for the apology, Phil. Now let's talk about video games." Like that would be really weird, right? But no. But then here's the thing. That would not be enough for DSP. He wouldn't just say I'm sorry and then like kind of like do whatever after that. He would then be like, "So you're not gonna apologize, Craig? Huh? Craig, I apologize. Where's my apology?" Like, then it would just be really weird because he can't help himself. He can't help himself. He everything he does is transactional. It is so fake. And he acts as if like he is such a nice guy. Again, nobody does nice things to get rewarded. This is the guy that will most likely like hold the door open for a girl and be like, "Why are you kissing me? I opened the door for you. Where's my treat?" Like that's DSP. That is the guy. That is what he would do. Now, maybe not literally, maybe he would do that in IRL, but he definitely acts like that. He acts like he acts entitled to be reciprocated because he's a fucking dog. He's a dog who wants to get a treat after he does a little trick. That's him. And that's a bad way to go about life. And that's what's so nasty. Nasty when you listen to him talk about reciprocating. Who the fuck just talks to their audience like that? It is so nasty. It's such nasty work.
Toxic content. I find it way more fascinating when I do stuff that's not like that, right? Like, okay, I would argue. Let's think about this.
Let's think about it.
What was the better interview and/or appearance? The interview that I did with Keemstar, or the interview that I did with Stuttering Craig? If you ask me,
I love that he even installed a moment of silence for the crowd to respond. Like, he really talks as if he's a fucking presenter, like he's on stage, and he has some interaction with an audience. Dude, you're streaming. You don't need these fucking pauses. It just comes off weird. But he asks what's better, the starting Craig or the Keemstar? Okay, let's actually think about this. As he says, right? The Keemstar interview, he hyped it up after the fact as, I finally talked to Keem about our differences, about the beef we had. The beef they had was non-existent. It was just, let's see. He jerked it on stream. Keemstar covered it on Drama Alert. DSP reached out saying, "Get me on the show, dude. We can talk about it." That never really pans out. Keemstar then makes a Twitter video saying, "Phil, I'm gonna pay you $50,000 to get on Lolcow Live. I'm doing an amazing show." DSP says, email me, Keem. Email me." And then Keemstar shows up in his chat. "Phil, pick up the phone. I'm trying to call." "Keem, I'm working right now. I can't call you. Look at me, Keem. I'm working. Email. You want me to ban you?" All this shit. Just to get him to do a little dance for him. Then he gets him on his little level 1 podcast because Keem is attempting to get DSP on Lolcow Live, and the best way he can think of doing it is to placate the king. So he goes on and he's like, "Phil, I love your content and you're pretty cool. I'm sorry that I was a bully." And he's like, "It's okay, Keem. I love you too." And then he goes on, but then when he was on Side Scrolls, I skipped that moment. Whoops. All it was Keem just saying, "Phil, don't you think it's a little weird that you yell at everyone for watching detractor content, yet you watch my detractor content about me, and you say it's a documentary and it's fact? Don't you think that's a little weird?" And he's like, "Keem, June the King is a documentary guy, and he knows what he's doing. Okay? I don't sense any hypocrisy. Okay, but you're someone who..." And all this shit. That was the peak of their disagreement. Just nothing. Literally nothing. Even at that point, Keem was like, "This fucking guy, fuck you, Phil." Keem has went harder on multiple people in his career compared to DSP. He was it was just shooting the shit with Phil, basically. That's how Keem treated Phil. But DSP acts as if it was some big beef because he wants to make himself seem more important than anything else, because it sounds way more important and cool when DSP's like, "Yeah, guys, I had beef with Keemstar. You know that guy? You know Keemstar? You know the rich guy who did Drama Alert? Yeah, we had beef. Yeah. It's like those people who were sitting at the same table as an actor, and the actor said, "Hey, dude, what's up?" And then you go to your friends, "Guys, I'm best friends with him. He said what's up to me. We were in the same restaurant, and they said hello to me. We're best friends. We're like this." And it's that's not what happened. That's how DSP was acting about Keem. Now, let's think about Stuttering Craig, right? Stuttering Craig reached out to Phil, gave him a lifeline, gave him a platform. First, it was to talk about video games or whatever. But then Craig was like, "Phil, there's a lot of stuff going on about your past. Why don't we clear the air and you can set the record straight, and I'll help you set the record straight." He's like, "Okay, Craig, I'll do that. Yeah." He goes on, he hypes it up as a big tell-all interview. He's gonna clear the air. Watch it. Yippee. He leaves the show. Then on that fateful night the day after, Craig decides to say on his own stream during the decompression stream where he was supposed to play Mario Kart, he said, "I don't think DSP was telling the truth about WWE champions." And then Phil saw that and was pissed. He was like, "This guy is a piece of shit." And then you know what Craig did? He emailed him then and there and said, "Phil, I understand. But you can come back on and we can settle it again," or whatever the fuck. He kind of left the door still open. But he also said to him that he wouldn't trust the evidence at that point, uh, because it was so late in the game. I think regardless, it wouldn't have worked in my opinion because it was like 7 years. Like there were a lot of variables about that. I think there's a lot of reasons to doubt any evidence he would have shown Craig anyway. Because again, the other thing is, if he was gonna show Craig that evidence, why couldn't he show us the evidence, or to or a degree, like censor a lot of the personal information, whatever, or he could have gone like someone else or whatever. He decides to delete the evidence, but whatever, right? So there's that whole thing between him and side scrollers. Side scrollers kept trying to get in touch with him. They tried to troll him, whatever. And DSP was like really upset with them and all this stuff. Like a very heated back and forth that was actually more relevant and recent in comparison when he had him on the fucking Level 1 podcast. So he gets him on, and this is also right after DSP admitted to lying about WWE champions. He came clean on that. So of course, Craig was gonna bring that up and say, "Hey, you lied, and you're on my show, and you lied. Don't you think that you should apologize to the people who watched the interview? You told people to watch it as like a tell-all thing, whatever." And DSP could not apologize. Now he's saying this as if like this was a lesser interview, like the Craig interview was a big nothing burger, that it was just drama. But my guy, it was relevant to you because you created the drama. You went on their show. They gave you a lifeline. The reason why DSP lied on that show wasn't because, oh, he's addicted to lying. Well, I mean, he is addicted to lying, to be honest. But it was simply he knew that he was going to be exposed to a whole new audience. So he tried his best, his absolute best, to try to hypnotize a whole new audience to kind of like believe his nonsense. That's why when the questions got a little bit challenging, DSP was caught off guard. He was like, well, you see, it actually, like, whatever. Like, he kind of like, it fell off the moment they were trying to talk about the bank leaks and then the 5,000 expenses he put on his bankruptcy form, whatever. But he tried to lie at the best he could so that when people were watching it, they would give him the benefit of the doubt, and he would have a whole new surplus of people that would give him the chance. Instead of being honest, like, think about it. This dude gave him an opportunity, but he couldn't do it. And he couldn't even do it for June the King. June the King was doing a comprehensive documentary on DSP. June got to the WWE Champions thing, and all June could say was, well, apparently, speculatively, like, he left it as a speculation. Like, oh, this is allegedly his WWE Champions account, but there's no evidence proving or denying it. Whatever. He left it very open-ended. Then, DSP was like, okay, I'm gonna do a stream, and I'm gonna announce that I actually did lie, so he could benefit from announcing he lied about WWE champions. He did not want Craig to benefit from it or June to benefit from it, when in reality, they both would have benefited. If DSP was being honest, let's imagine a reality. DSP goes on Stuttering Craig's dumbass show Side Scrollers, and he was completely honest, start to finish. He explained himself clearly. No damage was leaked. And everyone said, Phil, I believe you. Not only would Craig have this great interview on Side Scrollers that people would watch, but people would actually say, wow, Phil was being honest. Yippee. But he couldn't do that because he had no intention of telling the truth. It was the same thing in the debunking stream of 2018. For the most part, some of it was whatever, but it was stuff that you could easily debunk. But whatever, okay.
The Keemstar interview was like 50 times better than the Stuttering Craig interview. Only because with the Keemstar interview, we were cordial with each other, we were respectful with each other, we actually talked about some things in a very calm manner. We didn't go at each other, and it ended up being a fun experience overall, where at the end of the day, we didn't want to murder each other, right? The Craig interview was so pathetic because literally it was just the guy.
The way he describes these two interviews is so funny. By the way, look at these thumbnails. First off, remember when DSP said, I would never do a thumbnail where I would have a crazy face? And he has a thumbnail with him doing a pog face. And then look at the name. 3 Rogue Mega Evolution. Of course, right? But again, remember guys, he doesn't do these thumbnails with cartoonish faces and he doesn't overact. But look at these thumbnails. DSP's base take on drama content cooks! Hello, my fellow children. First off, that's not how you use cooks. That's not how you use it. It's guys, Fujimoto, when he was making the Falling Devil, he was cooking. He was cooking with that devil. Like that's how you use it. He's using it after the thing. So it's like DSP's base take on drama content cooks. No, he could say DSP. I don't know. It's kind of stupid, honestly. It's such a dumb title. But again, if you're calling your own take based, you're already losing it. Like, nobody's gonna call their own take based. Nobody would do that. But whatever, okay. But let's go to the Stuttering Craig interview, right? Let's just go to it. Look at what he called it. Stuttering Craig confrontation. Dun dun dun. And we'll go to a random part.
The fact that I did check my email on Friday night was fascinatingly amazing that I did that, right? That's a big dub. But I'm sorry that you felt betrayed that I didn't check my email. And once again, there's a big difference between ignoring, because
like, look how much Craig has to right now, this frame. Maybe Craig, maybe when he was looking at the camera with his hand down, maybe. But who looks more collected in this frame? Like DSP is sort of like he looks like he's ready to yell at him. Like look at him. And Craig is not even yelling at him. He's telling him, I'm sorry you felt betrayed that I didn't check my email. That's all it was, because there was some email miscommunication. Normal people would just sit there and be like, oh, he got the email late. Okay, because to me, I think he made the email a very convoluted situation just so he would manufacture consent to not give him the evidence. That was why he did it that way. I've never seen anyone say, okay, I'm sending you an email, you must respond within the time limit. If you don't respond in the time limit, the message will explode. Nobody fucking does that. And he knows that this is sensitive information that people may not believe in over time the longer it takes to show it, right? So it kind of is dumb and in a losing situation when he was making it such a big deal to just send him a screenshot of his fucking Apple ID Game Center thing. Because I think that's what he was probably going to show him. But again, people found out that the DSP Reacts channel, that email that's associated with that channel, was also associated with WWE Champions. So in my opinion, I think that's what he was going to show him. That account. We still have no way to verify if he truly sold the account on the black market, which I don't think he did. This dude didn't even know how to build a computer. You told me he knows how to sell a fucking account? Come on. This dude cannot figure out how to get the Mario Kart DLC in Mario Kart 8 on the Switch. He couldn't figure that out. And you're telling me he knows how to sell a fucking mobile game account safely? Come on. It was so obvious he wanted to make it so convoluted that Craig would say fuck it, or whatever would happen. And Craig did the thing. And he's using it as an excuse to not give him the... I said this when I reacted to this. But look how maddening Craig was. Craig is yelling right now. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I didn't check my email. Wow. Craig lost it, guys.
Because I didn't know the email was there in the first place. You have to know it was there to actively ignore it. I did not actively ignore your email. I didn't know it happened. So
yeah, because that's how DSP interpreted the event. He does this all the time. People ignore me. And it's just people didn't respond yet. It's such a entitled attitude. A little princess attitude.
So I can't ignore something that I didn't know happened.
Craig, in the interview, we ended it with, the door is open, you can send me the information.
Mm-hmm.
So you didn't know it happened. Do you need to have a bomb go off when someone sends you the thing you directly asked for? Would you
But
not?
again, that is such a bad faith statement, because like saying the door is always open is a very ambiguous phrase. That could mean many things. That could mean, oh, just show up on my stream and we'll talk about it. That doesn't mean, oh, let's play emails.
Do not even in a moment think, hey, maybe he's going to contact me today about this and I should check, because how else am I going to send you these documents anyway, by the way? It has to be an email attachment, right? I can't just call you and give it to you. I didn't have your Discord or anything, right? We were doing it through some other streaming client. So I had to send you an email. All right. Now here's the thing. We can talk about this for the rest of the show.
Look at this. He says this and he didn't even want Craig to respond to it. And he's like, all right, that is it. We don't have to talk about this. We can move on.
I'm going to kind of
one more, and then I want to move on because this is
sure. And that's fine. I'm just going based off of our track record of emailing back and forth. Okay. I'm just looking at how we emailed back and forth leading up to this thing.
Mhm.
Right. There's pretty much at least a day between every correspondence that we had, right? Almost every single time there's at least a day between our correspondence. So based off of our track record of corresponding with each other, I'm not going to go check. Like I said,
Craig, this is a really bad cope, bro. This is really...
Look at this. He's telling him it's a bad cope. He's saying, basically, I check my email once a day. For all DSP knew, by the time he sent it, it was when he was done checking the email. You don't know what's going on in his life. And the other thing is, doesn't Craig have a wife and a family? And DSP only has a wife and a cat. And he's like, I'm so busy, I gotta hang out with my family. Meanwhile, Craig has I think he has an actual family. He doesn't think that might take a little more time.
Really bad. You're saying we just ended the interview. You said the door is open. Send me the information, and then you just say, "Well, I'm just not going to check for the information." That's a bad code. Previously, our correspondence was never a reason for you to check right away. Now you had a reason, and you didn't. Instead, you actually did the opposite. Instead of giving me the fair shake, but see if I was going to send you stuff, you went on a show defaming me the entire next day. That's the worst situation possible for you.
The worst
situation.
Phil, you got me. I didn't check my email. I'm sorry. Hey, with that said.
But again, and get a load of this. He fucking apologized about it like multiple times. Multiple times. He apologized for not reading the email. And that's still not good enough for the fucking baby. As he has a picture of him as the king staring back at him.
Why do you need me? If you want to put this out there, you have an X account, you have a Twitter account, you have social, got to be on your computer somewhere.
Is this your gotcha moment? You're gonna try to get me to post my shit on?
Look at this again. Look who seems more rattled in this. Craig is literally just sitting there like, yeah, man, why don't you just do this? You don't need me, man. Like you can just post it on Twitter. You can do this. You can do that. You can jerk it, man. And he's like, you're telling me to do this? You're telling me to do that? Like, this is how he's acting. And he's like, and he's telling us, present day, that Craig lost it. And the only time he lost it was when Craig told him to go fuck himself. But the only reason why Craig even said that in the first place was literally because DSP led him to say that. Because he was like, so if I said this to you, what would you say? And he was like, I would tell you to go fuck yourself. It was something along those lines. And he's sitting there acting as if that would never happen. Come on.
Completely refusing to admit he did anything wrong when he gets.
And guess what? That is wrong. That got debunked. He did apologize for not checking his email, which is what DSP was accusing him of. He did apologize for that, but he is fixated on the they defame me on the podcast. But that was a decompression stream, and they were just saying they didn't believe him about WWE champions. And they were saying they didn't like that he was begging, whatever. And this is stuff that he also fucking said was bad, by the way. DSP said, actually, oh, I was begging, it was so bad. But he wanted him to apologize for that stream. But that was their prerogative. First off, the Side Scrolls is not a journalist publication. Secondly, DSP is not an elected official. Thirdly, let's say, like, his favorite example, Barbara Walters. Barbara Walters interviews Trump. Let's say that, like, the next day after the Trump interview, Barbara Walters is asked, do you think Trump was being, like, genuine about this? What do you think about Trump's responses? And she could say that, well, I don't think that I think he wants to do this, but I don't think he's gonna do that. Like, they could have an opinion about that. But again, the Side Scrollers is not a journalist institution. He never bragged about being a journalist or whatever. But it's also in bad faith to be upset when they said that you were lying when you went in to lie. He sat there like, who cared that I lied? Well, they cared. They literally were saying the next day, yeah, he lied. Then he says on his own stream, yeah, I lied in that. Yeah, man. And they were like, oh, so you did lie. So can you apologize? Because we thought you'd be honest. And look at this guy talk about this. And he's sitting there saying that Craig was freaking out. Look at him freak out. Meanwhile, DSP's like is yelling at him.
No, Phil, I'm saying is you don't need me. You never did need me, right?
That's actually untrue. Because what you don't understand, Craig, because again, you didn't know this, is that any time that I try to defend myself, the detractors move the goalpost. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be a little innocuous thing that doesn't matter at all. It could be fake. That's not fair. And then you were going to judge for yourself from that.
Phil, we could have done it on your channel. That's the thing. You didn't even respond. But isn't that the fun of it? The idea that you play Street Fighter 6, you lay into me for fucking 9 matches, you destroy me, you're the definitive champ, and all of a sudden the king is back.
Nobody cares about that, Craig. No one cares about you playing Street Fighter.
Like, look at this. Craig is throwing him all these ideas, and he's just turning him down, shooting him down. This is clearly in bad faith. This whole interview was just, like, as I said, even when I reacted to this was so obvious, just DSP trying to get Craig to say, I'm sorry. This, and all these interviews, in some way, shape, or form, were all to be a vanity project for Phil. And you could argue maybe that the one with wings they did, like, last week wasn't that. But it was. Simply because he wanted to be Wings' therapist. He was like, yeah, Wings, I think you should stop eating fast food right now. You should eat healthy foods, and you should watch your weight, Wings. Wings, you have people that love you. Like, that's all he did. It was just to make him look good. In some way, shape, or form, all these interviews are just meant to placate his fucking ego. And he acts as if it's such a unique situation. But this was in such bad faith. Craig is talking to him and he's just shooting everything down immediately. Not even like being like at least comprehending what he's saying to even give a meaningful response.
And he gets called out 17 times in a row for what he did wrong. And but you lied about WWE champions. What the fuck's your point?
I love that he is upset that Craig was being called out for all the things he did wrong. But the things he did wrong were stuff that didn't happen during the interview. And this is the same semantic bullshit DSP would do. Actually, I didn't shit on you, Craig, on the interview. I shit on you after the interview. It's completely different. But whatever. And then look at this. And but again, also, as I said, Craig gave him the platform. He reached out to get DSP to come clean on all this stuff. And DSP went in with bad faith and lied and lied and lied. And then is surprised when Craig is like, hey, you lied on the show that I wanted to help you out. And he's like, well, you didn't tell me to. Like, this is so scummy. And he thinks this is a good look for him. Again, he's saying that, oh, well, the trolls are going to clip me out of context. It doesn't matter the context for this. If you're saying that you're willing to lie on a interview just because they didn't tell you to speak the truth or to be honest, that doesn't make you look like a good person. Nobody should have to, like, force you to be honest. Like, come on. I mean, technically, people could go on the stand if they're being sued or whatever in court and lie on the stand. Yeah, there's repercussions and consequences if you're found out you're lying, but you think that's gonna stop people from trying? Like, come on.
Have one. You agreed to have me on your show to do an interview. The agreement was not that I have to answer all of your questions. Absolutely, God's honest.
And I love how much that Craig would have to corner him, say this, that, blah, blah, blah. But again, according to DSP's story of this, the first email that they talked about being on his show was to just shoot the shit, to talk about video games or whatever the fuck. And then Craig, after the fact, said, well, how about we actually do this? And DSP said yes. Why didn't he just say no? Right? So because that's not what they agreed on in the first place. He said that they first agreed to talk about, like, games or whatever, and to be a returning host. Craig then changed it to say, well, why don't we do this instead? Why, if DSP is such a stickler for what was agreed on, why didn't he stick to what they first agreed on? But when Craig says, why don't we talk about, like, all this stuff that the trolls say about you or whatever, you could just infer or get the idea, maybe I should be honest. He is giving me a platform to be honest. But he didn't do it. And then he gets found out in a lie, and he's upset that Craig was like, hey, Phil, you lied. And again, it just shows how much of a child he is. Because any adult, if they're in a conversation and the person they're talking to says that they felt hurt or betrayed or whatever, you would apologize. But he's not even apologizing for lying to him. What do you think that makes him look? How do you think if someone had me on their show and I spent the entire time lying to them, do you think I'm gonna look back and say, lol? No. I would feel bad if it did matter. Which in this case it would matter. Right?
Honest correctly or truthfully, all I did was agree to an interview. And then after that, you said I could come on your show as a regular guest like everyone else always had and had a good time. You immediately reneged on your agreement. You are a liar.
How did he renege? What was the renege? If he told us, even I think he said either leading up to the interview or like during his own decompression stream, that they first agreed to do a normal show. Then Craig went back to him to say, let's do this. And DSP said yes. That is his own story. That is what DSP told us. And now he's saying, well, he reneged. How? How did he renege? Because if we're gonna play the semantics of what was agreed, I didn't have to agree to being honest, then where did Craig agree to not speak his mind the next day? Did Craig tell you on paper, Phil, I will not speak ill of you after the interview? If we're gonna play the semantics game, so can he. This is complete baby nonsense. He is just mad that Craig not peddle his lies. And why should he? You lied. He he invites so many people to lie, and it brings them down. Like, that's what I said about Cat. He lied. Let's say that these that's why the Level 666 podcast doesn't do him any favors. It's a lose-lose for him if he was being honest, if he was lying, whatever. Because it shows to me, if he was being honest, saying that he lied during those DMs, he involved Kat unknowingly, that he lied about her health condition. Same with his mom. And he thinks this makes him look like a good person. How? How? If you're gonna lie, at least just involve yourself.
You're a snake. You're a backstabbing scoundrel.
A scoundrel. People use these words, I laugh at them. Who the fuck's a scoundrel? You're a snake, you're a liar, you're a scoundrel. Okay, fucking boomer. This is why people act as if he's a boomer. He talks like one.
There's nothing else about it. And he basically would never get off the fact, well, you lied about a mobile game. So what? So what?
He gave you an opportunity, a platform on his own show, and you spent the time lying. And let's say that Craig, because the only reason why he's going off on Craig like this is very simple. It is so easy to hate on Craig. People have already called him out for being a grifter and all these things. People have said that about him for months. It's so easy to dog on him and not be called out for this. But let's say that Craig wanted to be taken seriously, right? He wants a show to be taken seriously. What does it mean when he has someone on his show that lied, and he peddled this person's lies and spread that those lies were honest? That would ruin your fucking reputation. And DSP does not comprehend that. In the same way, in the same stream, by the way, DSP says he would not want, like, because he talked about the idea that Wings may have lied, and he has also been a liar too, whatever. And DSP said, yeah, you're right, I wouldn't want someone who would lie on my streams. Yeah, guys, if Wings is like that, I wouldn't want him on. But how dare Craig get upset that DSP dared to lie on his stream? Like, listen to yourself. But he has no morals. The only moral he has is when it benefits him. Again, Howard is completely vindicated when he says DSP doesn't care about anyone but himself. Like, Howard got this guy, like, pegged down. He got him right. Because, look at him. Look at this fucker.
Who gives a fuck if I lied about a mobile game?
Who gives a fuck? But why did people make it a big deal? Again, he doesn't understand that the issue that people had with the mobile game was that he was going through a bankruptcy at the time. Oh, I can't afford the bills, guys. Tip, tip, tip. And he was paying money into a mobile game. And again, we don't have to even believe the number. Let's say that the $40K at the time was made up. Let's say he spent $100. That is still pissing money away on a mobile game. Hello? But he doesn't understand how it looks. Like, if he just didn't talk about, if he wasn't begging as hard and relied more on making good content, it would be a different situation. But no, not Phil.
Game. What if every word out of my mouth was a lie during the interview? We still did your fucking interview for free, which is what we agreed to.
Yeah, but he would still be in the right to be upset that you lied on their interview. Yeah, you agreed, but he could still be mad because he would sit there and say, I should not have to write on paper that you would be honest with me. Like, dude, come on. With that logic, why does Wings have to be honest? Why does anyone have to be honest with you? Hello?
But he doesn't understand that.
And this is the other thing. This is from the guy that wants everyone to be honest. He wants everyone who makes content. Oh, be honest. Be honest with your content, man. Be honest. And if we're gonna say that, well, how do you know I was telling the truth or if I was lying? So then why do you get so butthurt about people defaming you then? if you're telling lies on the internet, right? Like, this is such nonsense. It's so nonsense to just say this shit.
He's a fucking dunce, and he wanted a big payday and big notoriety on the internet for the appearance. So
yeah, that's why he didn't want to be honest with him. That's why he didn't want to give Craig anything. He didn't want Craig to defend him about the mobile game. He didn't want to give Craig the evidence. The same way he didn't want June the King to also have the same evidence. He wanted it for himself so he could make the money off it. But he doesn't understand the benefit if he was just being honest with both these individuals. He doesn't have the idea that he could use these things to benefit him. But instead, he made these things just negative or have a seed of doubt so that people can't just take them at their word on certain things. What a cool guy.
When I have him on the show, it's this big, angry argument. He won't do nothing. He won't be cordial. You know, he's just a jerk.
This dude literally said, "I'm sorry that I didn't read your email." And throughout this whole interview, DSP, this guy, shot down every attempt Craig made about anything. Let's go to another random part.
Sounds to me like you wanted me to come clean on your show and get a really great piece of content out of it, because it was going to be the definitive time when DSP admits to everything that everyone's been saying that he's been doing for so long. And when I didn't do that, you basically had a nothing burger of an interview. 5 hours of a nothing burger of an interview. But it was good for my detractors.
See, he's already shitting on his content, saying that the interview was a nothing burger, even though it really wasn't. And he's saying that he did a bad interview. But you came in with bad faith, my guy.
Wanted to crap on me, so it was a good piece for them, but you didn't have anything for anyone else. So it didn't give you what you were looking for in the product. That was the problem. You were really hoping you were going to get the big confession. That's why you kept putting me on the spot about send me the screenshot, when we had never discussed that before the interview. You didn't get it. You got upset about it. And that's why you didn't check your email, because you couldn't get the moment anymore in the interview. You thought you had wasted 5 hours of your time. And what you said was, well, now I'm going to get him back for that tomorrow. I'll make that money in this nice destruction show. That,
like, look at this. He's insinuating so much from Craig. Like, look how quick DSP is to run to the bottom, run to the mud. But everyone else is the drama queen here.
We'll do on Friday. That's actually what happened.
You're wrong about all that.
Okay,
right?
Fair enough. But you asked me for my opinion, so that's there you go.
Sure. And that also tells me where your head's at. We were mad because we were lied to. Had you not lied, none of this would have happened. If you were just clear and honest with us, like you've been with like you were yesterday, everything, none of this would have happened. We could have moved on. It would have been like, yeah, did we think it was full of shit? That's fine. And would the Friday stream have happened the way it did? Probably not. Right? Would the monetize the hater stream have happened?
Oh, man.
Probably not. Because if you just were honest from the start, none of this would have happened. So you can point the finger at me all day long. But at the end of the day, Phil, what's the old saying? You still got 3 more. I do hope that we can eventually work together in the future in some way, shape, or form. Maybe you come on Side Scrollers and we do a regular show. If you don't want to deal with a politics-driven show that isn't...
By the way, this was a good window for him to say,
isn't whatever you said, right?
Fuck you, Craig.
You were extremely.
Look at
you were
this.
extremely,
Look at this. He's struggling.
Nice with your words.
He is racing for the hang up button
right now. And when you told us to go fuck ourselves and all that stuff, so.
And yeah, DSP was the first one to say go fuck yourself too.
I would like to give you a fair shake someday on Side Scrollers if you're open to it. Like I said, I want to make sure that you and everybody else knows that I am open to working with you in some way, shape, or form. But I hope more than anything, I hope you're honest. Not just with your audience, but with yourself about the situation. I appreciate your time today, Phil.
God.
I got some dad duties I got to get done. Thank you guys very much for your time.
All right. Now, hold on. No, before you go.
Oh my God. He already said
It'll be quick. I promise.
Yeah.
This is it. This is the end. There's no more feud between you and me. Do you agree? That's it. We're done. We can stop going at each other's throats.
Phil, I haven't had a feud with you for 18 months, man.
That's fine. Okay, whatever you say.
Oh my God. Dude. Again, look who is more collected on this. DSP was literally like, okay, no more feud, right? No more feud, right? Right? Say it, say the line, Craig. Come on. Yeah, okay, all right. So that's okay, Craig. Okay, Craig. But yeah, Craig was the one that was insane and crazy.
He's a fucking jerk.
Yeah, he's the jerk.
So that's what I mean. Like that interview, I didn't really like as much. I wish it had.
No, he. Okay, I think he liked it. I think this was DSP's favorite interview. He won't admit it because it would be a little too blatant of a contradiction to his own beliefs. Like this may be a bridge too far for him to like do, but I think he secretly likes this because look at the theatrics of doing
Monetize
this.
the haters, but you don't have a feud with me. You want me to play Street Fighter with you. You don't have a feud with me. You want me back as a guest on your anniversary show because you know it's going to bring you hype and attention from my detractors, but you don't have a feud with me. Okay? But okay, fair enough. You don't have a feud, but we're agreeing to this now. It's over, right? We're done.
Yeah,
we're good.
It's over. Yeah.
Okay. So,
yeah.
and you were asking me now, a year and a half later,
like,
will I be a guest on your show? Which was what originally was agreed to, correct? Like, that's what you're saying. It was originally, that was the agreement. We were going to do the interview. And then after that, I was going to have the opportunity to be a regular guest on your show. He's trying to get Craig to
ask a question.
That was the agreement.
And
like, you already lost when you're doing
email
this.
Saying, like, we were just disappointed, right? And the offer wasn't there anymore after the interview because we felt lied to.
Okay, so now,
with that said, I hope we can move past it.
That's what I'm saying. Now that we've hashed it all out, right?
Look at this.
Good.
Look at this. We're all good.
You're saying you're extending that olive branch, and you're saying that that opportunity is there again, possibly. Not a lock-in, but it's possible that I could be on your show.
Sure.
Okay, I'm not interested. Go fuck yourself.
Look at this. And he couldn't even say go fuck yourself during that. He hung up before. But Craig was the asshole, guys. Like, come on. And he's like, I hated that interview. Then why did he do the theatrics? It's very obvious he did that just to get people to, like, respond. To be like, oh my god, Phil hung up on Craig.
I wish I could have had, like, a breakthrough with the guy to let him understand that he was being a disingenuous piece of shit. You
were the one. Between those two, who came off disingenuous? Phil. And he admitted to lying in this video. You can't be genuine when you opened up by saying, yeah, I lied. Come on. And it was so clear the whole time. DZ was fishing for an apology. He was just fishing.
During it, despite the fact...
Like, he had to go through the email just for him to be explained why he has to apologize to him. That's it. This was what all this was just to get him to do this. And like, he's sitting there like, well, I just wanted to talk. Then why make that the topic then? Why talk about that? But again, that whole beef between him and Serena Craig was more relevant than the beef he had with Keemstar. The beef he had with Keemstar was a nothing burger beef. Come on.
But you can't have a breakthrough with someone who doesn't have morality or a conscience. He doesn't.
You lied! And I want also everyone to remember, during a cringe-ass, old-ass PUBG stream, DSP did say lying was bad. Lying is the worst thing people can do. He was staunchly opposed to lying. And now he says this. Wow.
Understand that he was being a disingenuous piece of shit, but you can't have a breakthrough with someone who doesn't have morality or a conscience. He doesn't.
Yeah, the guy who lied is telling the other person that they don't have morality. But DSP, you said lying is the worst thing you can do and it's immoral. Then why did you lie? Why did you run into Kino Casino if you're such a moral, principled person? Why die on that hill when you're not gonna, like, live by that? Like, come on.
The guy who literally time and time again started a business, ran it into the ground, sold it off, and screwed off everyone involved with it.
This is complete bullshit. If you go back in time far enough, he actually praises Craig for starting up new business. And a lot of these things, I think, are very different. Screw Attack was a bigger enterprise than what he's doing now. comparatively, because Screw Attack had other people working there, and of course it went under because I think they sold it to like game trailers. Like game trailers went under. Like it's the same thing that happened with like with Rooster Teeth. But now Rooster Teeth is like independent again. Whatever. But like now it's not. I think it's a little different. Because I don't know necessarily how much of an industry side scrollers is comparatively than just a YouTube channel that gets views, right?
He did it with Screw Attack. He did it with that second business. He's
What
done
was
it
the
again
second
and again.
business?
I wouldn't be shocked if he does it with his current show right now. That he runs it into the ground, sells it off to try to make money again. He's a track record of being this kind of a snake oil guy. You know what I mean? This slimy dude. So, not shocked that it happened. I just didn't realize that about that guy until after the fact. But again, I want to do content that's more positive and meaningful, that builds bridges, that has meaningful conversation. That when people tune in and watch, they're like, that was.
Yeah, this whole thing about building bridges is complete fake. It's completely fake. He's only saying this for the virtue. For the virtue. This is the same shit like he complains every year about companies bragging about being philanthropic. Oh, we're gonna donate half the proceeds to charity. And he's like, that's the point of charity. But meanwhile, they're at least giving a charity actual substantial money. DSP only wanted to help Wings, Jordy, dude. Just so that he can brag about how he's building bridges. That is the only reason. That's why when Wings said that he would go back to Lolcow Live, DSP looked visually disappointed when he said that, because DSP wants Wings to say, "I'm not going back to Lolcow Live." Like, yeah, see, guys, Wings is a positive guy. And he was gonna like fucking brag how his interview helped Wings so much. He doesn't care about Wings. He doesn't care about anybody. And he only wants to do this just so he can brag. Guys, I had this person on and it was actually meaningful. But what was meaningful?
That was interesting. I learned something, or I got something meaningful out of it. Not, I saw two guys who yelled at each other. The entire.
Just think about these fucking truck sim streams. All of these truck sim streams have devolved into ranting about trolls or drama. That's what these have become. He said either in this stream or in another stream or somewhere that he's willing to respond to drama shit during these streams. And I'm just asking myself, I thought you don't want to do drama. Why do you respond and participate during these streams? Oh, you know this is boring slop, so you have to have something to clickbait. That's why he has a fucking video called GSP's Base Take on Content. Because this dude sucks.
Entire conversation, and they look like two immature dicks. I don't get satisfaction out of that, to be honest. I don't really feel like I got anything out of the Stuttering Craig interview at all. I think it was a waste.
He would have gotten something out of it if he was simply the bigger person. He could have literally just been like, yeah, you know what, Craig? I realized when I admitted to WWE Champions that I should apologize. And you know what? I am sorry. You offered the platform and I didn't want to do it, and I did and all this. But I was very nervous about sending people personal information, whatever the fuck, blah, blah, blah. But you're right, I shouldn't have lied. And I'm sorry. Like, what was Craig gonna do then? Because if Craig, let's say if Craig really wanted to piss off Phil, and he wanted to make that interview a piece of shit, right? He wouldn't accept the apology. He would then say, well, actually, he would move the goalpost during the stream. But we don't have that footage because DSP did not apologize. At all. So this is complete nothing. Of course the interview sucked in that way because he didn't do anything that would have gotten any meaningful change. If he wants a meaningful interview, why doesn't he admit fault? Because he doesn't want to seem weak. He doesn't want to admit that he's wrong. Because this dude's ego doesn't let him. It's way easier for him to admit fault when you're multiple years removed than it is to admit it when it's actually face to face with someone. That's why it's so easy for him to say, I should never have gotten mad at This Is How You Don't Play. Meanwhile, this dude loses his shit over the game journalism memes. So you learn nothing. You learned nothing. He got very like sensitive about the Zelda clips, about the VTubers making fun of him, or people using VTubers to make fun of him. He couldn't handle any of this, like, at all, because he's a little baby.
A waste of time. As opposed, again, to the Keemstar interview, I think that was a complete constructive piece of content. That was
the fact I can't even remember. I can't remember anything about that interview other than Keemstar was trying to get DSP on Lolcow Live really shows how not meaningful it was. Come on. Like, I could remember the Wings interview was boring, but there was at least moments I could remember, but not for the reasons DSP thinks I should be remembering it for, right?
Actually helped the internet in a lot of ways.
How did it help the internet? First off, he said Lolcow Live is a bad show, and he was very upset that Wings would want to go back to it. Clearly, he does not think Lolcow Live is a great show. But he wished it success on the interview. He didn't really stay into reason to say it's wrong to do Lolcow Live, whatever. He praises Keem for doing it. Where's your morals there, buddy?
People looked at Keemstar in a different light, and me in a different light. That was a good thing. That's the kind of content that we need.
All they did was now he can say and point to and say, guys, I had Keem on my show. We're like best friends. If he was so gracious to have Keem on his show, he should return the favor and go on Lolcow Live. Why doesn't he go on Lolcow Live? Why doesn't he pay Keem back for the favor? Keem did him a favor to show up on his show. DSP has said, well, you do something for me, I do something for you. So why don't you do something for Keem then, buddy?
Not people just fucking trying to rip each other's faces off. And that's what it seems like everyone wants me to be involved in, and I don't want to be involved in it. I could have done that. That's what they wanted me to do with the dumb shit that Kino Casino was coming up with that was just brain-dead stupid shit.
If he didn't want to do that, then why did you have that Craig interview become that? I'm sorry, he is the one that manufactured that whole interview to be that. I'm not gonna believe, oh, Craig did that on his own. You wanted that conversation. Own that. Secondly, Kino Casino just told him, like this to his face, hey, the gaming is not going to work, you should do other stuff. Now, sure, you could argue that he was trying to get Phil to do drama content, whatever, but DSP could also have taken that in another direction that might not have been drama, but he's too dumb. And he said that, and then he bragged about how he doesn't have to stop doing gaming because gaming is working. Meanwhile, he's now talking about branching out to do other content. There's no logic to anything he says.
Shit that I refuse to do. Okay. Hold on. There's something that I missed here.
Oh.
On buses?
Buses.
Okay. Delivery drivers, plumbers. I don't think you know about.
Oh, he was talking about like how trolls have talked to all this stuff. I don't know if they ever talk to plumbers. That
SOK content
makes no sense.
I think the SOK was just full of shit a lot of the time. The people.
Yeah, I'm not talking about
done
this.
This right before my wife moved in, or at the end exposed for the losers that they were.
Like I don't care about Laveria and all that shit.
Nah. Right so far. Whatever. Happened. If you think that happened, I'm sorry for you. I don't. Queen of Romanian, that never happened. if you think that happened, I'm sorry for you. I don't know what to say. You fabricated a situation in your head that never existed. Whatever.
What? I would have modded for you on Kick, but you banned me and called me the R-slur because I asked you what your favorite Sega Genesis game was. Okay, I don't know. That's very specific.
In Philadelphia, I went to twice.
I don't care about the con
Filming,
stuff.
like,
It's really stupid. He
and I
just
was
doesn't
able to watch it
understand
for a little bit, watch people
anything.
to do some stuff like maybe you wanted to buy exclusive, then value out of when I went to a con. Can get a picture, get an autograph, then it's awesome. But I don't really care about that, like, at all. I never did. I told you guys, never once in my life have I lined up to meet someone and get Strzezuski.
Like, he doesn't understand that, but like, that it's part of the experience. Like, I met Kevin Conroy in person, and he signed my Batman art book. It was such a good moment. He's such a cool guy, and he's like, oh, he talks about how much he loves Kevin Conroy's Batman, but I mean, like, you don't know anything. I actually like met with him, and he signed my art book. It's so cool, man.
I think. And I was like, I started reading the comics.
Like, he acts as if, like, if you like an actor, you're like, you have to suck their dick and idol worship them. You don't have to do that.
I'll watch the movie you're in. God, I'm fan community kind of following is one of the reasons why people really like going to cons.
But I'm more like, I talk more to like directors or people like that because I'm more curious about, like, if I were to meet David Lynch, that would be, I would be like so ecstatic, and I would talk to him about the stuff I liked about his movies and try to like and tell him like the stuff I like to see his reaction to that. I mean, that's all it is. But whatever.
I don't know why anyone ever wanted my autograph.
Okay.
Does it, sir?
He says that, but he defends doing the scam giveaways because he gives them his autograph.
Mark Hamill and get his autograph. What purpose does it serve?
So you know you met him.
You see what I'm saying? Like,
to a degree, like, memories do fade a little bit. Sometimes you want an autograph so you can like have physical like reminders that you met him. Like I got like the voice actor of Duke Nukem to sign my Mega 64 version 3 DVD. And I was like, oh, I loved you as Doug Huggum as a joke, which I mean I think is kind of a lame joke when I look back at it, but whatever. I have a signature from him. I think it's such a niche job he had.
Okay.
That I was like,
we're coming to almost the halfway
I wonder
point.
what he'd
5-10
say.
minutes, we'll have the halfway point of the stream.
Really
Can we get some more support? Cabal, all Cyrax. So he wasn't nearly as good.
I don't care about Mortal Kombat.
He loves it. Hobbies.
I think now we're gonna get to the Chill as a Cherry segment. Chill as a Cherry.
Chill as a Cherry says, do you think you're going to regret spending most of your life inside of a house, spending no time, meaningful time with friends, and doing anything? Listen, first of all,
listen to how he talks to Chill as a Cherry at first. Listen to how he talks to this person. Secondly, the way he worded it, DSP took it offensive. He took it as an offense. You can tell that he's a little angry, but he's doing a passive-aggressive response that would cause Chill as a Cherry to react in a way that may lead to a ban. That's what DSP's fishing for. He's kind of troll fishing at this point. But this is the kind of shit DSP tells everyone all the time. You have limited time on the earth. You should have meaningful relationships with your family and your friends. But then when people say it to him, look how he responds. It's almost like he does it to piss people off.
I had a very eventful life before I became a full-time YouTuber and moved
Okay,
out
that's not
here.
what he's asking.
Before 2014, most of my life was IRL shit. I traveled playing Street Fighter for like 15 years of my life. It was constant in-person interaction with people, going to arcades, going to their houses, going to fucking tournaments.
In your 60s.
That was my life.
And you're gonna be a homebody.
Traveling everywhere. In my youth, that's
literally, he could have just answered this as this. Do you think you're going to regret? I don't think I'm going to regret that, Chill as a Cherry. I love the time I spend with my wife. I love my cat Jasper. She's pretty cool. He's pretty cool. My wife's pretty cool. Like I'm just content with that. I don't, like I'm happy with my life. He could just say that, but he knows that the trolls are gonna make fun of him. But guess what? The trolls will make fun of him anyway. So why, like, this is the shit I say all the time when DSP responds to people in his chat. It's sometimes better to just not get angry. This is the shit he tells Wings. He told the Wings, "Oh, you should focus on the people who love you, Wings, not the trolls." And he's giving trolls all these clips. Like, why try to bait Shilla Zachary to be angry?
Literally the polar opposite of what I do now. All right. So you're acting like since the day I was born, I was sitting in front of a TV streaming games. That's not true. I didn't start doing that.
He didn't say
actually
that.
full time until 2017.
He's saying most of your life. By the way, he
said
said most of your life. That's a ambiguous term. Most could be like 20 years. Most could be 30 years. He did this up until like what? He reached his mid-20s, and then like in his 30s, he broke off from John and became by himself and all this stuff, and he only had Leanna and Kat as friends or whatever the fuck. Like, these are like fixed moments in time. You're ever growing, ever spending time on the planet. Come on. Oh, and I love Challenge says, "You're talking about your life in the past tense. I had a life."
very different, okay? Now, you're talking about now. Now,
right.
I am married. I have a full-time job as a streamer, and I'm married. My wife is my best friend. If anything, if I have more free time, you know who I want to spend more time with? My wife.
You can
not
spend
anyone else.
time
I
with
don't
your
want
wife
to have other
and
friends.
a friend.
I just want to spend more time with my wife, who I don't spend enough time with as it is. So you'll understand this one day when you find the right person, and you have that person who you want to spend as much time with as possible, and you can't because you're busy all the time, then you'll get it. But the thing,
look at this. Look how he's talking to him, and he bragged on his like Q&A stream that he had adult viewers, and he talks to them like they're fucking teenagers. Like I love that the majority of his demographics are American and adults, and he talks to them like they're foreigners and they're 12. It's so weird. It's so weird. It's like I talk to, it's like I do these videos and I talk to you as if you never heard of DSP before.
the thing is, you're a single schlub right now who's trying to criticize me on my stream, and you don't understand it because you're younger than me.
A single schlub. If they were just young, why insult them? But again, he's taking what Cherry said as an insult, because literally this is what he tells everyone. And it kind of tells you a lot that the fact that he took what Cherry said as an insult when he has said the same thing to other people.
One day you'll get to that age, hopefully, you'll find the right person, and then you'll be happy just like me, and you'll get it. But a lot of people who criticize me in my life don't understand that the life is great, that I'm incredibly happy with the way that it is.
Now listen to this.
I set it up that way. Like, I actually... No, you're not. Oh, you're not married. You're such a fucking
Look at
lie.
that. Look how quickly he changed his attitude. He went from, yeah, when you get older, you're gonna understand, okay? You're just a single schlub, but you're gonna understand one day when you grow up. I'm married. Okay, you're a fucking idiot. You're a liar.
Liar. Ban that guy right now. Dude, you're literally sitting on my stream right now telling me basically that my life sucks. Even though I'm the one with the audience, I'm the one making money, getting healthy, happily married, and you're going to tell me you're married? No, you're wasting your fucking life.
If you're happily married, why didn't you just say that? The dude asked him, do you have any regrets being like this? Now, of course, you could argue it's in bad faith or whatever, but again, what is more work? This? Or just saying, I don't regret my life. I love my wife, and I love streaming in front of all of my viewers. Which seems like the harder thing to say. And you think, that would be easier because DSP tells us every day how much he loves streaming. And yet he's more willing to bait Chilla Cherry to crash out so we could ban him.
Life watching me saying shit like that to me on my stream. You're not married. No one would marry you. All right, you understand that? No one in their right mind would even talk.
Yeah, if you watch DSP and you're a fan of his content, nobody will marry you. I like the connotation saying, if you're watching my streams, nobody will marry you. Very, very cool.
Of any kind of a fucking gender. You're the one who sits in your fucking basement all day smelling like fucking stinky ass fucking socks, all right? No one else
This is coming from a guy who says he showered once a week. I don't know if he ever changed that, but he said he showered once a week. But okay, man.
People like you. Anyway, what a fucking idiot.
What
I
an
received
idiot.
a generous contribution.
What an idiot. You owned him, King.
A $20 tip, all right. Let's see what this person has to say. First of all, let's get a nice animation going. Did you get that impression on the first show that he was on? I'm not against the idea of having guests on the podcast. I wouldn't want Wings to return. He's someone who isn't capable of owning up to his mistakes and would bring down the show as a whole.
Yeah, get a load
Did
of
you
this.
get that impression on the first show that he was on? I didn't. But then again, I felt like the 2 hours that we were talking literally flew by so fast that we didn't have a lot of opportunity to a point to really flesh out any topics
Oh
at
my God,
all.
I just didn't want to hear that
Maybe
part.
if we did, maybe if the show was longer, again, maybe if he was on every once in a while and we talked longer, maybe then we get to a point where it would be like, you know, where it would be like, oh, you know, he's full of shit about something. Like, to be honest, he's the one who brought up the topic about.
I love he's saying, like, if he's full of shit or whatever. So, but did you tell Wings he had to be honest, Phil? When you emailed Wings and you talked to him, did you tell him he had to be honest?
About fighting. Oh, you think you could beat me up? First of all, I was like, no, I never said that. What I said was, you would never hit me if we had a fight because I would just dance
That
around
means
you.
the same
Dude,
thing.
I'm like a third of your weight.
Like,
Fighting. Oh, you think you could beat me up? First of all, I was like, no, I never said that. What I said was, you would never hit me if we had a fight because I would just dance around you. Dude, I'm like a third of your weight. There's no way you would lay a hand on me because I have the stamina to just dance around you till you tire out. You're going to tire out in just a few minutes.
oh my God.
And then he goes, well, I would cut off the ring and I'm professionally trained. I was like, yeah, but if we were going to fight, I would train too.
Yeah, okay. First off, it would take one good hit from Wings to stop the idea that DSP's gonna run around. It takes one good hit. Like, sure, Wings he's not gonna run a marathon anytime soon, but it's not that he has like zero cardio. DSP's acting as if like Wings would just do this and then he'd be like winded. Like, come on. Secondly, him saying, oh well, I train too. When Boogie and Wings was doing the boxing match, GSP acted as if these two would not train at all. They weren't gonna train. But now when they put him in the situation, well, I trained for that. Okay.
And then after that, just the topic drifted off into something else because I don't think there was anything else to say. You know what I mean? So maybe eventually, yeah, if we had talked longer about these topics, we would have gotten to a point where it's like he's backed into a corner about something.
Look how cool this guy is, right? He's talking about cornering Wings in a conversation. You had this dude on your show, and you said it was cordial and meaningful and cool, and you're fantasizing how you could back him into a corner through conversation. And you're kind of alluding, or insinuating, that you kind of did over the boxing match thing. But what did you want Wings to do? Keep yelling? But then he'd lose it, right, if he did that. So maybe Wings wanted to be cordial, right? But look how disingenuous this is. How quickly DSP soon shifted from we were cordial to, yeah, he can be backed into a corner. What a cool guy.
And he just doesn't want to talk about it anymore or moves out. You know what I mean? Like, I think in his head, he legitimately does actually think.
Maybe because he just didn't want to fucking spend time on this. Like, he's on a show and he probably wants to have the show keep moving. And this is, like, not even a thing worth making a big deal. And he's like, yeah, it's weird. He didn't want to talk more about it. You want him to be like, all right, Phil, let's do a boxing match. Is that what he wanted? He wanted him to do that? And then what's these gonna say? I'm not gonna box you, Wings. Well, Wings lost it on my show.
That, like, he could beat me up? When in reality, he would never beat me up in any circumstance
And
unless
then
he
look how he's
jumped
talking
me
to him
and got the jump on.
Look how he's talking about him after the interview. He first off responded to a troll or whatever, saying that he doesn't trust Jordy, and he's kind of like saying, "Well, I guess that could happen," and then talks about how he could beat him up or how he could like outlast him in a fight or whatever the fuck. Is that a cool thing to do to your guest that you had on, Philip? Oh, you're just responding to chat. Yeah, it's not like Craig did that on his show or anything.
On me, you know what I mean? That's about it. That's the only situation it would happen. But I hear what you're saying. Again, maybe you know Wings better than me. At least I feel like the show went well enough.
I thought you watched all these troll videos,
right, that
to learn
drummed
about
up.
him.
That at the very least, we should give it a shot to make it be an ongoing thing every once in a while. I don't want to do it all the time because then it would be not special. It would be too common. And it would be boring.
Yeah,
what
same
did you
shit.
eat, right? What do you do for
What do you
Thanksgiving?
eat? Of
What
course.
did you do when you were a kid? What, did you have different things and traditions
my
that
God,
you
this
did?
is him
'Cause
talking
my
about
traditions today are
Thanksgiving.
different than what I did when I was
Like, who
this
cares?
year. Did you make any progress on that this month? You know?
And then he wants to do a fucking wellness check for him. All right, Wings. So how did you go? Come on, dude.
Just stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So I think it would be that kind of conversation works. But eventually, if he comes on so much that we get to points where it's like it feels like the guy's just full of shit all the time. Do you really think I want a guy on the show who's just full of shit all the time?
So he doesn't want someone on his show to be full of shit all the time, but he went on someone else's show and was full of shit the entire time. Jeez, so DSP understands why Craig was angry, right? Of course.
Of course not. But this, I don't know that about Wayne. I don't know him well enough. We haven't talked enough. We've talked once. You see?
So this again just tells you just how much he takes advantage of people's ignorance. He took advantage of Craig not knowing fully the kind of scammer DSP is. Like, he took advantage that Craig assumed that DSP would be honest during the interview to have him on. That's mistake number one. Never assume DSP would be a decent person. He will always tell you he is, but sometimes he doesn't actually mean it.
Totally cool with having him on again. I'm a fair guy. I'm gonna give him a chance. He seemed really cool the first time that he was on. I'd like to have him on again.
Like,
what's up, King Michael? Good evening. How you
again, he wanted to lie to Craig so he would seem cool, and then Craig would have him back on, and then like whatever. But he made it hard for Craig to like have him on because he made the email game for him. Like, this is all bullshit.
Doing, man? Good to see ya.
Good to see you, man. It's all bullshit.
Cracker Jack says, I've been married 31 years and I know where you're coming from. Well, there you go. When
oh my God! Wow,
person,
Cracker Jack said that.
Okay. And especially if you're the kind of person that you're a busy person. I'm busy all the time working, right? I wish that I could spend more time with my wife. I can't.
He can't believe Chill as a Cherry is married, but he will openly believe Cracker Jack said he's married. Ah, yes.
So now, if you haven't noticed, oh God, look at this! I just lost control because
Right.
Basically, when you get to a certain level of being busy, right? My show and we do work together or something, that's different. But I want to spend time with Kat,
Okay, but you could be friends online. You could have online friends. Like if that's the case, he could have just said, "Well, I do have some online friends that I hang out with." He called these people he played all these fighting games with his friends this year. Whatever.
Someone who doesn't get that, here's the funny part too. This guy in the stream who's calling me out saying, "Oh, I don't have any real life interactions or whatever," but you're married, right? So why aren't you with your wife right now?
What? If Cracker Jackson's married, why isn't he with his wife? Why does Cracker Jacks get to have the pass to watch DSP content, but Chill as a Cherry, he needs to ask his wife's permission? I don't know, DSP. Maybe Chill as a Cherry and his wife have a healthy relationship, and they allow themselves to be alone sometimes. Like, does he think that once you get married, you're like joined at the hip all the time? Like, that'd be insane. Like, even cats don't do that. When I'm babysitting Tiago and Yuxi, they do like sleep together, they do hang out together, but there are times where Tiago will just not want to be with you around Yuxi. Like that's just how people and animals are. Whatever.
Why are you sitting on my stream criticizing my life? If you're married, why aren't you spending time with your wife? What, do you not like her? Does she not like you? So when we
he really wants to use this as an own, but literally he had a chatter Cracker Jacks who's married who's watching him. Don't think about it.
We can easily analyze the situation and figure out where the real problem is. The problem isn't me, the problem is this idiot whose life sucks and wishes he had my life. So now he's got to try to bring me down.
But you're not with your wife right now.
In a way that makes him feel better about himself, right?
But you're not with your wife right now. Huh? Whatever.
Now the speed limit is 75. 600 miles to go. I'll go super late tonight. You don't have any friends. Like, wait a minute. Well, if you...
What?
It's just funny to me because when people say stuff like that to me on a stream, or when people criticize me online and they're like, you don't have any friends. Like, wait a minute. Well, I have people I'm friendly with. Oh. I'm friendly with my moderators. I'm friendly with certain people on stream.
Yeah, so you have online friends.
With other people online as well. I still talk to people from the FGC from back in the day who I'm friendly with.
You could just say
Maybe
it's
I'm not
online
friends because I don't have
like, I mean, you don't have to be super parasocial to people online, but, you know, like, it... Again, when you're a normal, well-adjusted person and you talk to people online, you can either just know, like, judge it off of that, right? Like, it's just, I don't know, like vibes, I guess. I don't know how to describe it because it's just like talking to people IRL. You go to a bar, like, you don't know who you're talking to in the bar. That person could be a creep, that person could be this, could be that. You take the risk, you talk to the person, and you make a judgment call of, do I trust this person? And enough to at least be a friend, be a colleague, whatever. I mean, all this stuff is just being social.
I have a lot of time to spend, but I am friendly with people. I'm married happily.
But again, you want to take that question as an insult.
I wish I had more time with my wife. So what is your criticism exactly?
What's your criticism?
It's like, well, you're not fitting my exact interpretation of what your life should be. Well, when
DSP puts everyone else in a box. He just put that guy in a box. Why are you with your wife? You're a married type person. Married people always hang out with their partner. Why are you with your partner? Isn't that putting in a box? Are you judging Chill as a Cherry for not living up to your own standards?
When I was single and in my 20s, I had a ton of friends. I had tons of friends who I spent time with. We traveled to tournaments together.
He talks about friends as if it's like a phase. And then you just grow out of that. I mean, you grow out of some friends, sure. But you don't just stop making friends. Maybe when you're a senior citizen that happens. But not when you're in your 40s. See how much easier like is so comfortable being a boomer? Because he is. He's like a boomer trapped into like this guy.
We would hang out outside.
I don't know what they call his generation.
Go bowling, hanging out, play pool. We did all that shit because I was single and I had time to do it. I wasn't full-time employed like this. So, what is exactly your point? I think what it is, you get these people who are younger and immature, and they think that everyone should.
He loves that. He loves this talking point because he loves to sound like he's like the wise sage. Okay, dude.
Just live up to their standard of what's happiness or whatever, and it's not. Like, everyone's different. Everyone has a different life.
Happiness?
That's okay. It's not your place to be criticizing how other people live, especially if they're happy and they're not hurting
anyone. You just criticized someone for how they lived. And he was criticizing Wings on how he lived. That, like, he does it too. He's no better. He's no better.
One person, maybe, never wants to be married whatsoever, but wants to have a lot of friends for their whole life. That's fine. There's no reason for you to criticize that. They can do that if they want. And then you might have someone who's happily married and doesn't have time for friends outside of that because they're busy. That's fine too.
But what are you busy with?
Why is one correct and the other wrong? I'm really at a loss. Like, if everyone lived exactly the same life,
why
had the
does he
same
hang
goals,
out
the
with
same
Kat's
archetype
friends?
they wanted to fill in.
He takes 2 days off, right? So Kat has no friends. She has no friends at work. Well, maybe not. Who knows?
Be boring as shit. If we all just went down the same exact path, had the same aspirations, had the same desires.
I love there was a stream. This is back when Leanna lived in the pig pen. Leanna had her friends over. Like, she had friends over, and DSP was locked in his little room to play his little games. It's really like the adult table. The adults were like having a little dinner party, whatever, and little Timmy is in his little bedroom playing his Nintendo. Like, that's what that was. But why can't DSP participate with Leanna's friends? Why didn't he share any interest with Leanna like that? Instead, he treated Leanna like she was like a baby, like a child, and he does that with Kat. Like, come on.
Things that we like and don't like. It really is. Variety is the spice of life.
Didn't benefit
the fact
him.
that we have people who are so different from each other.
This variety of is the spice of life shit is so annoying to listen to. Like, oh my god, it's irrelevant to this.
Actually is what makes life entertaining and interesting, in my opinion. But I guess some people don't see that way. It's like, my way or the highway, agree with me or disagree with me. If you disagree with me, you're a villain. You're a horrible, heinous villain, right? We can't have agreements or agree to disagree on anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't get that mentality at all. I just don't. When I was younger, I was very pig-headed.
But nobody said he was a villain for being in his home, having fun with his life. Nobody said he was. The question was, did he regret? Does he regret this? He could just say no. Instead, he made a big contentious point for no reason.
Headed like that, but since I've been a content creator, since I've been a YouTuber, my mind has expanded very dramatically.
No, it hasn't.
And
no, it hasn't.
I certainly don't think in that mindset anymore. That's for sure.
No, you still think that way. You're just not as outwardly outspoken about it.
Before I drive off the highway.
I mean, again, he's not like a hateful bigot or anything like that. He's just very ignorant on things, and
let's see here.
You know, like it's fine if you don't know things. But whatever.
Someone tipped me $2. Says, did you ever look at your analytics? I'm curious to know what type of person watches.
Okay, I do not care about the
podcast,
analytics.
and we could have that kind of discussion during the QA segment. I'd be down. When I come back, I'll have a new. Jade says, when I meet WWE, I don't know enjoying you can do, but my life is. And then the time I have outside of streams, I want to be at any given moment. Let's see here. Jag X Strikes to the $2 super chat says you can be married and have IRL friends. You're right.
You're right.
But my life is so busy. I have so much going on at any given moment, right? I work at least 5 days a week, if not 6, to make ends meet, to get this, keep this going, to keep this nice house I have and everything. And then the time I have outside of streams, I want to be with my wife. Maybe if I had an insanely high-paying job where I was making like $500,000 a year.
Like, let's say Kat has some friends at work. She has friends at work. Wow, congratulations, Kat. You made more friends than Phil. She then's like, Phil, I think we should have dinner with my friends on our day off. And Phil'll be, okay, Kat. And then, like, they can, like, go out with them and then have a good time. Like, he could share friends with Kat as well. Like, he could have done that with Leanna. But it would require him to take an interest in their lives, which is insane for him. He can't possibly vision that. They need to take interest in his life, not the other way around. Don't get it twisted.
Only had to work 4 or 5 days a week, then I'd be like, oh, I have all this extra time. I don't have extra time. So I don't need IRL friends outside of my wife. Do you get that?
You get that?
Okay, but thanks for $2. All right. Let me run downstairs. Second half, let's hit. Here we go. 600 miles to go, and I think the last like month, as long as we hit the goal tonight. All folks. We're more than halfway there. And sleep. We were talking retro gaming, one of which is just a variety of multiplayer games. Then we had the idea for maybe no marathon.
Oh, no marathon.
Besides, like,
he's so happy to say no marathon. Maybe we'll do no marathon?
Game trailer after American Thanksgiving.
He should do a marathon of meaningful
Mozzie with a $2 super chat says, still waiting for you to get neutral.
Okay, I don't care about neutral
times. I'm supposed to start working, and now it's 2 days and it still doesn't work properly, so. Appreciate that. I can't drive. The rest stop right here. Really? Mother Beast. I don't think I've seen that.
Okay.
Pro travel store. Shop. I got caught. They were all blackjack. I have. Do I miss locker room talk with the boys? Not really. But
does he know what locker room talk is? Do I miss locker room talk with the boys?
Like I said, I do still have friends from back home who I talk to.
Oh, what? No, you don't have friends, Phil. You said you don't. I still have friends that I still talk to. Okay, so you did. Oh my god. He's like, yeah, I still have friends. After all of that ranting and raving about how he's happy to be with Kat, he's like, yeah, I still have friends. He reacted to Chill as a Cherry like that for literally no reason then. He acted so insecure about answering that question. And then he's like, yeah, I still have friends that back home I still talk to. So you do have friends. Oh, man.
From the Street Fighter days. From time to time. It's not, not like it used to be back in the day when you're actually hanging out with them and stuff, but,
Uh-huh.
For them driving directly into me, that's how they're realistic, I guess. They make Simply... Oh, the company that makes Simply Lemonade. But I got distracted by the... This truck because of all the awful, and I don't like it at all. Bad, so I never bothered. Do I like the old Japanese Godzilla movies? Yes.
Okay, I don't care.
That's where they cut off.
He got confused between
60s, 70s, 80s era.
Godzilla -1. He's like, what? How does this fit the Godzilla universe?
I really like the game a lot. It's a shame it didn't catch on more. I like this so much. I wish more people would have liked it. Stevester, thanks. I'm going to shut. All right. This person is the same person.
Wait, what game does he like?
We got multiple contributions. So, I received another. I like this so much. I wish. Balatro is great. I love Balatro. Everyone knows that. Yeah, I played it earlier this year. I actually...
Oh, Balatro.
All right, hold on. They're anonymous. He never even considered what you said, or at least try to change for the best.
Listen
to be
this.
fair,
listen to this.
I have not followed if he's tried anything this week. I don't know. If you remember the recommendations I gave him...
I'm pretty sure he got mad that Wings didn't listen to him, but that might have been a little bit different.
Were
get a load of this.
Start or stop drinking.
Keep in mind, earlier he did say he would ask Wings, "Oh, how are we doing with your diet or whatever the fuck?"
Soda on stream. If you're gonna drink anything on stream, only drink water and don't eat on stream. I didn't even tell him don't eat the bad food or don't drink the soda. I said,
listen to this. So he concerned trolls Wings about eating healthy and all this shit. Oh, eat healthy, Wings. Eat healthy. But then, in reality, he was just saying, don't do it on stream. So it wasn't really as much about his health that he pretended to care about, and he didn't give a fuck about that. It was just, don't do it on stream. Simply because he thinks, his little baby brain, that people watched Wings eat food because they think it's funny to see fat people eat food and drink. That is, like, true if you're, like, a child. A child would be like, cool, wow, man. And even that's doubtful. So it really kind of says a lot about DSP, how he views fat people. Like, it's so weird. He makes it so easy to accuse him of fat shaming and being fat phobic. But it's so weird to sit there and say, yeah, Wings, just don't do it on stream, as if that's the problem. Yes, if he stops eating on stream and drinking soda and just drinks water, Nobody will ever make fun of wings, Phil. What a good thing. I'm so glad he's more concerned about that than his own health, even though he pretended he did care about his health for weeks leading up to it and during the interview. But in reality, he only cared about how wings is perceived on stream when he eats the food.
I said, just don't do it when you're streaming. I don't know if he's followed through on that or not because I haven't watched his
Like, why?
content, okay?
Why does it matter then?
Fair enough. Thank you for another.
Like, why does it matter? Like, okay, what if he does he has a good diet off stream, and on stream he just orders fast food or whatever? Like, let's reverse it. Let's reverse what he just said and all that. Would that be any better? No, it probably wouldn't. It would be the same or whatever. Like if you cared about his health, just be honest then. But why does it matter if he does it on stream? Oh, because you think people are watching him eat fast food and all this stuff, and people are making fun of him for that. That's not why people make fun of him. Oh my god.
Very generous of you tonight. $40. Thank you. Steve's with the $5.
It's very obvious how he views fat people.
Games, fun and
and it's like kind of like insulting. Especially considering his wife.
It's because I'm
Especially
able
considering
to
his wife,
do jobs.
Well,
and
what did he say?
Have some silly things
it's
happen, like crash and, you know, have problems, but also have fun conversation with the audience. That's why I really like Truck Sim, and I think that's why it's on.
Right.
I see the more recent one, but I saw the first one. Right? You absolutely love Godzilla stuff.
Okay.
Protein now that I'm working out, so. One. I don't even understand. I get confused because there's the American guy.
Right.
I'm moving on subscription because I was watching a whole bunch of horror stuff for October.
I love he hyped up watching Superman. He hyped it up, and then it's like, yeah, I'm not interested in it. And like, I think yesterday during the Q&A, he said, yeah, I heard a lot of people say it was just all right. I was like, what kind of what is this feed looking like? On my feed, I've seen non-stop praise for Superman. Like, the only person that was critical of it was my mom. And she only didn't like it because she was like, yeah, Superman just kept laying on his back and crawling around. Like, he didn't really do anything. Like, he didn't fight as much as she wanted him to fight. And it's like, okay, I kind of get it. I like the movie, but I get it. I knew what she was saying. I got it. But that was it. That was the only person that was critical of it. But she's also not like a superhero person either.
Like, not watch as much and wean a lot of that out, so I'll probably get rid of Shudder soon. But that's it. That's all I have. I kept Netflix because I knew that Stranger Things is coming up in a couple of weeks, right? Isn't Stranger Things Conclusion coming up soon? So I'm gonna watch that. But outside of that, that's right. And there's a new Knives Out movie, I think, coming out in December.
I used to hate watch Stranger Things. Like, after season 1, I kind of started hate watching Stranger Things. But I'm not watching the season. I'm just gonna read spoilers.
I got rid of everything else, so I don't even have
I just can't take it seriously. A bunch of 20-year-olds going to high school.
So why am I keeping stuff that I'm not watching? I'm just pissing the money away. Well, at one point, let's see. I've always had Amazon Prime Video.
Okay, I don't care about his streaming service collection.
No, that's still 4 tonight. I'm feeling confident.
Peacock.
My wife and I had Disney Plus. It was actually when it was brand new. When Disney Plus first came out, Kat and I got it, and we actually watched a whole bunch of classic Disney movies. Like, we were binging on like the old animated movies,
of course,
from yesteryear. Now watching them all in HD for the first time and stuff like that. And we watched a few other shows. I watched a few Marvel movies. That's how I actually saw.
Did you subject your wife to that? He described Kat's relationship with Marvel movies like she was like a hostage. Like it was a hostage situation.
Avengers Infinity War, because I didn't
like, is that how he abused her
or whatever? I watched.
We're seeing fucking Avengers, bitch. Get in the car.
I had Disney Plus for like maybe 2 years, if that.
Get in the car. We'll get Captain America. We'll get Captain America out.
I don't think Disney's really making much good content anymore. The Star Wars stuff sucks. The Marvel stuff now is in a meh phase that's not very good, and
it's whatever. It's fucking Disney, and they're making woke movies.
Did I ever see the Popeye movie? Yes, if you mean the live-action Popeye movie. Okay. My house is on that shit all the time. Like, I never wanted to keep watching it, but We always had HBO on the TV in my house, and it was always like fucking Popeye shit. Correctly, so Kat moved in with me, absolutely no plans to get married. Like, we knew we wanted to, but we knew we didn't have the money for it. Say it was like September-ish.
Oh my god.
Like, if I remember correctly, so Kat moved in with me around February 2018. I'm pretty sure we got engaged in the fall. I want to say it was like September-ish. Okay? And we had absolutely no plans to get married. Like, we knew we wanted to, but we knew fall. I want to say it was like September-ish. Plan. Like, if I remember correctly, so Kat moved in with me around February 2018.
Right.
I'm pretty sure we got engaged in the fall.
So why do you get engaged if you're not, like... I love that this dude just gets engaged.
I want to say it was like September.
With no, like, end point.
Okay?
Like,
and we had absolutely no plans to get married.
So then
like,
why do you get engaged? Getting engaged means you plan to get married.
At that point, you know, we're talking 2018.
Nobody gets engaged and not get married.
Stress. I didn't have any money. So we were
if that's the case, they break up.
Engaged, but let's just wait. We'll wait till we can do it right. It may be years and years down the line. Who knows? But we love each other. That's all that matters. We're together, right? We're committed.
Within a year. Like, this was a year. I've never seen anyone move that fast in a relationship. But Disney wanted to lock that down. He wanted that caretaker to stay there and not leave. So he knew he had to get married. So he doesn't lose another caretaker.
The whole thing in 2019, where we went to Connecticut to see my parents, and it all, like, fell in line. It was complete circumstance. Like, my parents reached out to me in early 2019.
How much of a stretch that is? They got engaged in September, and then just so happens in December, his parents were like, "Phil, come to Connecticut." Wow, what a coincidence!
And our health is turning for the worse. Particularly, my mom had a few things going on that were really bad, and they didn't know if it was going to get worse or better. And basically, the way that my parents pitched this whole idea of me going to Connecticut was as follows.
I love that they had to pitch him the idea. Like, just think about that. Your own parents had to pitch you an idea. I can't imagine. Imagine you're, like, in your 60s, and you have to call your kid and pitch them the idea to come over to visit you.
We want to spend time with you while we are still capable of doing things. Like, we want to go out and do things together. We want to go to the zoo. We want to go shopping. We want to go to dinner. We don't want you to end up coming to visit us when we're decrepit, when we're falling apart, and we can't do anything. So think of this as like a do or die. You have to come now because we're getting diagnosed with health issues. Kind of.
He kind of really does make it sound as if, like, they have to explain this to him because he's so dumb. He is so dumb that they have to explain it to him like he's a fucking idiot. Like, you really need your parents, like, Phil, you need to come here. We could die any second. And you know, we could do this together. Doesn't that sound nice? Like, geez, they have to try so hard to get their own dumb fuck son to come over.
Kind of a deal.
Man,
so I agreed to do the trip.
What a grateful kid.
Without any money. We were broke because we were so up to our eyeballs in debt at that point. So my parents offered to pay for the entire trip to go out there because they felt like it was us spending time with them. It was like a favor to them, right?
Oh,
but at the same time, as this was happening,
it's a favor.
We got engaged in all of that.
I can't imagine acting this way. The only way it would make sense to me is if I hated my parents. Like, if I didn't have a good relationship with them, I would talk like this. Jeez. That Wolverine figure really did a number on Phil. That and the bunny.
Basically, the way my parents spun it was, you know...
And then they spun it.
Be out here, you got some family out here, you got great...
And then I love that getting married there wasn't even his idea. Just think about that. You don't want your family to be there for you to get married and all this stuff. Like, they had to tell him that idea. It really sounds like those kind of weddings that they do at for the elderly who are, like, you know, senile, they forget anyway, so like they do fake marriages for them. That's what this sounds like.
food out here. You know, if
We
you
got
wanted
food.
to. Not that my parents are
Booze.
rich, because we
That's
were
what
not
they
a
said.
big
Phil,
ceremony.
we got
Probably like
food,
the smallest ceremony
booze.
possible, basically, all in their house.
They
And
hyped
then
it up
at
like a
local restaurant
marathon.
right down the street from their house was where we had our dinner, right? But saying, you know, you could come out here and get married, and then, you know, you can have a
I like
nice
it's
few
down the
days
street.
together.
You don't
It's
want to go
kinda like
anywhere
a
else.
honeymoon. You know, it really wasn't a honeymoon. It was just hanging out and
Hanging
having some
out.
food
Oh my
and doing
God,
some
this
shopping
is-
and stuff.
this
But it was
is
better
such
than
a-
nothing. You know, we couldn't afford to do a real honeymoon.
Oh my God,
So
this
that's
is
how
such
they
a
spun
weird
it.
way to talk about
So,
this. Oh man.
You know, we went from being engaged and having literally absolutely no idea when we were going to be able to get married at all, to within a few months, my parents pitching, hey, come out here, spend time with us, but also
Pitching.
get married and everything.
It's like an
It was like,
elevator
well, I guess it
pitch.
all kind of
It's like when
just
a
came to
show
be, it
owner
all kinda
pitches a show
happened,
to a
and it worked
network.
out. So maybe it was
You
meant
can
to
call
be.
it
Maybe
Phil
all
and the
that was meant
Parents.
to happen that way, because otherwise I actually have no idea when we
Dark
would have
Side
gotten married.
reunion.
So, yeah, so really, I mean, we got engaged that fall, so it was September, and then we got married in April. So, we weren't even engaged for a year. But we have been happily married for many years, so
Yeah, well,
it
what
worked
else are you
out. It
gonna
was definitely
do?
the right choice.
Like, I don't think at this point, I don't think she has the backbone to go through a divorce.
And now I swear out of my
So he
life.
locked her in. He successfully locked her in. He's the
Almost
ball
killed
and
myself.
chain on Cat. She can't leave now. Caretaker secured.
Well, smooth sailing. This
I don't know when the
fighting people, like extended family and friends and shit,
Oh, someone asked about extended family, but he never talked about Cat's side of the family, just his side.
and having a giant overblown ceremony, but it would have been so expensive and we didn't have the money for it. What's the point? You know?
I like that he talks about, like, he would need a lot of money to do a big ceremony. I mean, if I love someone and I want to get married, I wouldn't care about the ceremony. I would just kind of make it a nice ceremony. Some people do big ceremonies because of the gesture and all this other stuff. Like, there's a lot of thinking and planning involved. Like, it's...
Oh shit, here we go. Whoa, that was close.
It really is up
What's
to
the
how you
point?
are with your partner.
I mean,
and
I
all
get it
that
because I've
shit.
been to big weddings. Like,
Like,
a
I like he says, I get it, but he said he didn't get it. He said for years, I don't understand why people do
couple.
this.
who are engaged come up with that kind of money. Usually it's their parents or it's the family pitching it together to make that wedding
Isn't it
happen.
usually the wife's
I don't have
family pay
anyone
for it? I
like
always
that.
think
My
that was
parents are
weird.
not
It's like,
filthy
why would
rich
they
at
have
all.
whatever?
My
But maybe that was
extended
back
family
in the
doesn't
day.
really exist. You know, my family had a falling out many years ago.
Okay, I do not care
back
about
in the
this
day.
marriage story.
And same thing with my wife. Like, she probably would have invited just a couple small, you know, people here or there, you know,
Small
tight-knit stuff.
people.
That's it. So I miss it. I do miss that when I was younger, I had a family with that. But you're like, damn.
If he really cared, he would have reached out to these people, but he didn't. But he claims he would for the wedding. But you could do this anytime.
You know what it is? It's like you don't realize what you have while you disappeared. It's like, wow, this kind of sucks. Now it's just me and my parents, and that's it.
It sucks.
But that's life, you know? It happens.
Okay.
Some people are stuck with their family their whole lives. They can't... They're miserable. Oh, I hate it. My family's at everything I'm involved with, right? For us, it's more like we're just kind of on our own doing stuff. And that's cool, too. Again, like I said earlier on this very stream, you know, everyone is a little different. Everyone's life's a little different. Everyone has a right to live their life how they want, or just how it turns out, and that's fine. Variety is the spice of life. If you have a big, happy family who gets together and has a ginormous $400,000, $500,000 wedding with, you know, insane resort-level shit, gourmet food, dancing, and all that, good for you. Or if you have a little rinky-dink wedding in your parents' hallway with just very close family and,
Right.
you know, justice of the peace, and you go to a restaurant down the street and you eat an amazing Italian meal and that's your whole wedding, that's cool too, you know?
What about shotgun weddings?
All right, I guess a lot of people are taking off Jay's job, right? So let's hit the goal. All right, fine. I don't. Hot and cold sandwiches can both.
Oh my god, where's the base take?
Let's get serious. Let's get very serious. With an estrogen-heavy environment, you say that again.
Oh.
Seems like I'm comfortable with an estrogen-heavy environment. You say that again. I did Smart Guys with PPP for a lot of months there, man. That was a rough one.
Okay.
Anyway.
I mean, if anything, he's the one that sounds more like taking estrogen than TPP. I mean, there was a whole era of him talking like a valley girl.
All right.
He would talk like this.
Let's get serious. Let's get very serious.
We're doing a marathon.
Now, right? Enough of that nonsense.
Are you guys excited? That was a while.
Hold on. No. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I got something to say.
All right, here we go.
Ready? I'm going to say this now, and I just got to say it. All right?
The base take alarm.
It's so funny because all these people on the internet, drama, right? I make drama content. I make lol cow content, drama content.
Lol
okay?
cow.
I'm sorry to say, are you not aware that drama content, gossip content, this whole kind of content, you do realize that is female-centric or gay?
Female-centric or gay. This is really stereotypical and just ignorant. As I said, I don't think DSP's a hateful person. He's just very ignorant. Like a child. Like if a child said this, like, you would just correct them and say, like, that's, have an open mind and all that stuff. But, you have DSP and he's like in his 40s and he's talking like this and you're just like, Jesus Christ. Like, dude. First off, he's talking about like the gossip columns or like stuff that's like, oh, did you hear about this or that? But this is like very niche content and very different. And that is content that was also not just for girls. Like, dudes were also talking about this. Like, it's not this gendered or whatever as he wants to make it seem. Like, come on.
Gay-centric content, right? It always has been.
And also, like, and this is also the guy that says that times change, things change, blah, blah, blah. He doesn't think that maybe that type of content has evolved and grown to be for everyone. Like, this is, like, stupid. I mean, this is, like, freaking out about people, like, when the Powerpuff Girls movie came out, there was a whole thing where it's like, yeah, guys are just shy or embarrassed to go see this movie because they think it's a girls' cartoon. But in reality, like, the Powerpuff Girls is a great cartoon, and people are more willing to accept that. Because more and more people have gone more accepting for the fact that people may like things that may not be like the intended demographic necessarily. But things just change like that. And the kind of gossip content he's talking about is very different from like this kind of video where I'm just talking about his opinion. But whatever.
1,000,000%. Who's the one who's always gossiping behind the closed doors about each other?
Yeah, dudes don't ever gossip. DSP never gossips with people. Dude, this dude gossiped about Wings. He gossiped about Wings in this fucking stream. He gossiped about Keemstar. He gossiped about Duty. He gossiped about all these other people. During the Keemstar versus H3H3 like era, DSP was gossiping about that. That's why people were calling DSP News half the time. Just gossip.
Who's the one who's all dramatic about each other, insulting each other's looks, insulting each other's actions, doing this backstabbing shit? That is girly shit. Teenage girl.
Like, he wants to shame people for doing this so bad, and he thinks if he leans in on saying it's girl content or gay content, people are gonna be insecure about the content they make and change their and not do it anymore. Like, we're not in elementary school, Phil. We are old enough to understand who fucking cares what kind of content this is.
Girls do. And gay guys do. That's what it is. I'm sorry.
People that don't do this?
If your entire existence on the internet is dealing with drama...
Like, this is really ignorant, because again, like, that's not true at all. This is all a stereotype that people, like, believed for a while and not anymore, because you realize very quick that these are people too and they have their own like things going on,
right? Making fun of someone and how they look and how they act and
yeah,
how they
only gay people and women make fun of people. True ally Phil, by the way. Oh, that's so true. Oh man, Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Because
This
they're
is
a
really
joke, ha
unhinged.
ha ha. Dude, that is the most immature, girly shit. You are so gay if all you do is sit on the internet insulting people all day. Period. And that goes for all the drama content creators.
He is so stuck in like the what, the 90s or whatever the fuck, like grade school. He's stuck in grade school. Like, grow up. I mean, this like again, if he was a child saying this, like people would just be like, okay, you know, tell them that this is not the way to think or whatever. But he's this old. Like he could easily just be like grouped in with a bunch of like ignorant people, and he's like proudly being ignorant.
That goes for all the fucking detractor channels. You're gay. Now, that's okay if you're accepting of that, but you understand that. That's the content you put out.
This is not how you sound when you're accepting. You're saying it in an insulting way to make me feel embarrassed or insecure about that you think I'm that. That's not how you show your acceptance.
Like, I remember when I first started on YouTube, all right? There were people who, like, were totally into serious subject matters. I'm passionate about this subject matter, and I make videos about it, I make content about it. And then there were the people who were like, oh my God, did you hear what this celebrity did today? Did you hear what this guy did today? Did you hear what this guy, did you see how this guy looked? Look at this picture, oh!
This is not even true. This is basing, like, what, like, MTV does, or TMZ, or whatever. Like, this has nothing to do with orientations, genders, or whatever. This is so ridiculous. Like, come on.
Oh my God! And that's the kind of content they put out, and they blew up for it. And it became a very prominent thing on YouTube back in the day. But it was always the effeminate, the gay side of it. And again, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that at all. I'm not saying that's bad content or
But you're saying it's all that. Like,
that.
This dude is saying there's nothing wrong with that, but you're assuming that all these women and gay people do this content or that they enjoy this content. You don't think this sounds a little ignorant, my guy?
Became a very prominent audience on.
And again, this is coming from the guy who did the snake arc. He snaked the casino. What does that mean about him? He pretended to be gay? Is that what was going on? He pretended to be gay. Oh, okay. That's even cooler. People always love it when people pretend, right? In IRL situations.
On YouTube back in the day, for sure, 1,000,000%. But now what's happened is somehow that content has evolved into like, no, it's all mainstream, it's okay, it's normalized, but it's not. It's drama, it's immature.
But it's normalized in the sense of it's just content. I mean, you could say it's bad content. It could lead to like toxic things, whatever. Like that's whatever. That's what he's complaining about. But he's making this is ridiculous.
It's meant for like teenage girls and gay guys. It always was. Like, that was supposed to be seen as like this kind of immature level of stuff that you grow out of. So
he watches detractor content, but he watched the same shit. Go watch the Christmas video when it was a parody of The Grinch. He literally talked about gossip. He talked about how all trolls are single men who love Justin Bieber. He made fun of people for being single. He said like, oh, Donald Trump could do this and this and that. Like, that's kind of gossipy too. But whatever.
Somehow now it's been built. No, now there's big business behind this drama content. This making fun of people. This tearing people down. If all you do all day is act like that, you know what I'm saying? Exactly. The T channels, all this shit. That is a very culture-centric kind of content.
That's a specific channel,
and the fact
though.
that people sit on there,
Whatever.
oh no, what are you talking about? I'm a big manly man who's all confident in himself.
Dude, it's easy. Like, nobody says, I am a man, I'm confident. Like, if you're confident in who you are as a person, you're not gonna say it out loud and like be offended when people second guess you or whatever the fuck. Come on.
But I still make this content that makes fun of others. No, you're not. You're not confident in yourself. If you
You're
were,
not
you
confident
wouldn't
in
make fun of
yourself.
others. You'd be confident enough in your own content.
Dude, he makes fun of others. He makes fun of trolls, Duty, Chill as a Cherry. He makes fun of numerous people. And he has to tell us every day how he's a married person. Like, I saw the Book of Mormon years ago, so I have the soundtrack, and there's literally a line that kind of sounds like how DSP talks about his wedding, about his marriage and his life all the time. Like, it's a butt of a joke usually when there's a character that's obviously gay, and they say, yeah, I love my wife, and then it's like funny because you know the truth. Like, what was this show? There was a show like F is for Family kind of leaves in a lot in that kind of humor. Like, there's one character that's like really gay, you know that they're gay, but it's like, it's set in like the 60s or 70s, so clearly they cannot be openly gay at that time period. Like, that's what it is, right? That's what you sound like.
That you don't have to bring
it.
others down. The only people who have to do that are people who are not confident in themselves and or have this feeling of like immaturity, drama. Again, teenage girl shit.
This is like really,
and that's a whole
really
business on YouTube
unhinged.
now. But it's normalized, right? No, it's not. If that's all you do, there's a problem.
He's like combining
and the problem is you. You're an
ignorant rant
and who just sits there crapping on other people. You're the little sissy, not the person you're making fun of, because they're just trying to live their life.
Yes,
you're the sissy girl in the equation.
Okay.
But
so
the thing
what?
is, that used to be known. That actually used to be
so
known
what if
mainstream. Like,
what,
you look at that and be like,
so what?
all right, you got your little...
Like, again, if he's so accepting and this isn't a problem, why focus so much on it? So what if I said, okay, so what if I'm a sissy? Okay, yeah, I'm a sissy. So what? What's he gonna say then? Like, why say this if it's...
your little, this guy on the internet who acts effeminate and he talks like celebrity gossip and shit. But now it's become like, but now it's mainstream acceptable because you had guys who turned it.
This really makes no sense, right? Again, he's saying it's okay to do these things. And okay, if that's the case, if this content is for them and they enjoy that, so then, like, what is the problem then? But he has a problem with drama content, which is fine. He could just say that. This added rant makes no sense. How can this be a based rant?
Turned it into big business.
It just makes him look ignorant.
Stupid. It's still immature. It's still gay. It's okay if it's gay, but you have to accept that it's gay.
Okay, so what if I do accept that it's gay? What does that change? What does that even change? He's acting as if he says that it shouldn't be normalized, but it's gay, and it's okay if it's gay. Just admit that it's gay. So, are you mad that it's normalized, or are you mad that it's gay? Are you mad that being gay is normalized? Like, what are you talking about? What?
Hey, you have to accept that it's this immature girly shit. It's effeminate. Dudes who are straight and confident in themselves don't have to talk
Nobody
shit
who's straight and
about
confident
other guys
have
constantly,
to assure us that they
got their
love
own
their
shit
wife.
going on. Why do I care about what anyone else outside of my stream is doing? I don't. You guys come into my stream. Did you hear what this guy said about you? Did you hear what that guy said? I don't give a fuck. Dude, today I ran a great stream.
But you respond to it anyway.
Audience.
You do
I
care.
Bank.
If
everyone had a great
you
time.
respond to
Why
it, you
the fuck
care.
Do I care what anyone else on this planet did today? I'm the one in charge
he's
here.
Literally the meme. I don't care about Phil, but here's my 10,000 videos on Phil. That's DSP.
I'm the big cheese. I don't have to sit and crap on
I don't
other
care about
people
this thing I hate, but I'll keep talking about
I'm
it.
successful.
I don't care about
If
Keto
all you do
Casino.
is crap
Talk
on
about
other
Keto
people,
Casino multiple
that's
times.
because you ain't got shit for yourself because you're a bitch. You're a little coward. You're a little fucking sissy girl.
Okay, so now it's bad to be
It's
a
that
sissy
simple.
girl, but
It's
I thought
not
it was
a big.
okay.
There's really no other way to spin it. If all you do is shit on
What?
others all day, you're an insecure little cowardly bitch. And you will
So,
never have anything to do for
being
yourself
gay
besides
is
dump
being
on others. The day that
insecure.
others don't do embarrassing things, you have nothing to do.
Right.
'Cause you have no
okay,
content.
This is very cool. Not
It's
ignorant
called
at
non-content.
all.
It's just bringing up other people's shit.
Is
That's
it
not
nonsense
content.
something
That's
else?
nonsense. That's you only rely on others to have success for today.
Whatever.
Literally, the entire
Let's
world could blow up
not
around me
unpack
today,
that, I guess.
and I would still have content to make. I
DSP
have
just
games
says
to play, I have
things,
to
okay? He just says things.
I don't rely on others to have a bad day.
It's like that character in that Need for Speed
sadly,
game.
It's just a lot of people that's
like,
their
I don't
entire
remember the line,
existence
but it
on
was
the
like,
internet.
you say
That's
shit
the worst
and
kind
you
of
never
fucking
mean
internet
it or
content.
whatever.
It really is. It's just a bunch of bitches. A bunch of little sissy gay bitches.
Sissy gay bitches. But I thought
there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing
as long
wrong.
As you're okay with that.
There's nothing wrong with like that. It doesn't sound like there's nothing wrong with it. You say it in an insulting way. If there's nothing wrong with this, then why say like, well, all the gay little bitches? Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that though. But like, just accept that you are. Why?
Yeah, but isn't it funny that if you ever say that to them, what? Oh, what? Me?
He's saying this because he probably is tired of all these people accusing him of being a gay person because of of how he acts. You tell him like, well, Solar Blade is a good game. You say this is a good game. Wow, Phil, you're acting like, are you gay? Are you scared of women? No, I'm not. I'm married. I'm a married man. He reacts the same way. Come on.
Me, effeminate, me, not confident in myself.
He got so insecure over LTG just saying, work on your sexy. Like, this dude is so insecure. He's an ignorant, insecure little baby. Come on.
Me, yeah.
Look, if anyone thinks I'm gay, that's what they think. I don't give a fuck. I mean, literally, I had people like actually DM me saying, oh, are you gay? You look kind of cute. And then I'm just like, no, thank you though. I always accept a free compliment. But no, I guess I should have reacted offended, I guess. Oh my god, you think I look good? Oh my god, what the fuck?
Okay. $5 super chat. Get through it, and I did beat the game. And I think it was either at 2 a.m. did a $2 super chat. Is it okay to be gay? Yes, it is. That's fine.
Yeah,
as long
it
as
does.
you accept it. But that's what I mean. Like the people
you have to accept it.
who are prominent for making that kind of content will be like, oh no, what are you talking about?
He thinks that people are still in the closet at this point. Oh, okay.
No, I'm a super confident, ultra butch male, bro.
We're not in the 70s. Nobody has to be in the closet. I mean, gay people don't have to be in the closet, but we'll see on Friday, I guess.
This is a topic that I think about all day.
What?
Nick Smith did a $2 super chat. Says, who's your favorite gay? Oh, let me tell you, this is a topic that I think about all day. What I do is I have an actual ranking of people who are homosexual, and I rank them all day in my head, and then sometimes the rankings change during the day's events because I just sit there on drama sites and social media, and I see what they're saying and doing to each other, and I just constantly have the ranking fluctuating all day long.
It's so awful to assume that gay people are like into drama all the time.
Anyway,
like,
thanks
what the
Roy
fuck's
for
wrong
$2.
with this dude?
Or they're gonna fly you out to a bar. Well, you know.
He thinks PB was gay because he invited him to a bar. I wouldn't accept it if he just thought it was a weird proposition or something like that.
Let me put it this way.
Like,
I think
I can understand
be who you are in life and be confident in who you are is way more acceptable than to be a closeted denier.
But why are they closeted? You know, sometimes you have to ask yourself, why are they in the closet? Maybe they're afraid of how their family's gonna react. Maybe they're afraid of the community that they're in, that they may not be as accepting. Like, do you understand why that was the thing to begin with?
It's way more brave, it's way more acceptable for you to accept who you are in life and say, this is who I am. I'm going to stop denying it. I'm going to stop hiding it because I'm a coward, because I have a certain kind of customer base that I need to fucking...
He's saying this, but like, you know, why do you just look at the discourse about the trans community. Like, do you think it's easy for them to be themselves? Come on.
Basically, bend over to.
Bend over
and say
to.
that I'm not.
Great use of words.
You could just be honest and admit it. But, there's some people who are cowards.
Yeah, they're
cowards.
cowards.
Let's finish the job.
Obviously. Let's not
especially today,
think about
because in today's society, it's completely acceptable to be whatever you want, right? You can be straight, you can be gay, you can be in between, whatever you want, and it's all acceptable and it's fine. And I don't care about it either. There's nothing wrong with being any kind of sexual preference or
yeah, this is him walking it back because he
any
like
kind of
come on,
gender or whatever. It's all good. It really is. I don't give a shit. So why are you hiding it? Why are you lying about it? Why are you closeted, huh? Oh, because
What?
the money's coming in today. Oh, I see.
Oh, yeah,
'Cause
that's
you're
why they're
pretending
pausing,
the
because they want
comes in, so
money.
you can't be honest with yourself.
That makes sense.
Got it.
Right.
This has definitely been a fun stream.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
There's 500 kick. Yes. Lagging roll thrower. Thank you for that. Did a $2 super chat. He says, we're all a little gay. Well, speak for yourself.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's so funny.
PSP take. PPP has bigger tits than my girlfriend.
Okay.
I'll tell you right now what I was that I had. I had no one in mind at all. And there absolutely was not referencing anyone whatsoever tonight.
But you just read that, though.
At all.
Okay.
Because that is not what I said.
Right.
Understand. That.
I think he saw, like, Hino Casino was, like, he dressed up as sailors
This is
for
annoying because we're right at
Halloween,
the end of the job.
and that's what he was on his mind, probably.
Be talking shit about anyone. I don't. It's fun
Like, I
every
do
once in a
think
while
he
you guys
knows,
bring it up.
like,
when we
trolls
do
have
the,
been
we're
saying
doing
that he's
trucks
gay
and
or whatever.
I
and
just
he's,
don't want
like,
every stream to be
trying to turn it back on
them.
them. Like, that's all he does. He deflects insults. Like, let's say that people say, well, DSP is a weeb, he's an otaku, he has a body pillow. He will then say, like, a month later, yeah, but the trolls, you realize people who have body pillows, they're all drama queens.
About what they did today. What do you think about what happened today? I don't care. Them at all. I don't care about what they say and do. They have nothing to do with me.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't.
I think this is the same thing. It's like, I don't care what they do. I don't.
It's a slog. Like another 5-10 minutes.
Alright, I think that's it. I don't think it says
Alright, here we
anything
go.
else.
We can go.
Alright. I am going to vibe check the intro of the podcast. Let's see what he's going to talk about today.
Because today, after over 2 months, over 60 hours of gameplay, today, on this very stream, I am going to complete Hollow Knight Silk Song.
Okay, this is not a good start.
In celebration of this completion, what I would like to do on today's show is give you my overall thoughts on the game. I know I haven't beaten it yet, but at the very same time, being that I basically have like an hour left in the game until almost 100%
Why didn't you
completion,
do that after you beat it?
I feel like I could give you a pretty good estimation of what I think about the game, and so we will do that today. But in addition, if you're not aware, last night we had a last-minute shift in the schedule. Instead of playing Ninja Gaiden 4, I did a Chill with Phil stream that proved incredibly fruitful. We figured out what the next game in the rotation would be. We figured out some ideas for what we're going to be doing on Black Friday and more. So, on today's show, we'll discuss all of this. We'll do some Q&A, and we'll get back into the swing of things. If you can believe it, we're halfway through the streaming week already. Doesn't feel like it does it, but time flies. So sit back and relax. It is time for another fun episode of the Level 1 Podcast.
All right. And then let's vibe check the amount. Well, okay, so he definitely hit the goal. He'll probably get another goal, why not? And that is it. Thank you for watching this video. This was shorter than I thought. I thought it was going to be a 3-hour video, and it wasn't. That's pretty based. It's pretty based. It's a based video, guys. Anyways, that is it. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.